and a warm welcome to ASSOCHAM webinar focused on agri-sector logistic in partnership with NABARD Arunachal Pradesh. I'm being joined by Chairman Northeast, Mr. Mahendra Agarwal, and we have our council members, Mr. Manu Chaudhary and Ranjan, who would be joining us. It is indeed a privilege for me to be with the distinguished guest speakers and the participants of the program, and we look forward to interact with you over next 1.5 hours. Farming is one of the oldest economic activity in our country, and agriculture is primary source of livelihood for almost about 50% of Indian population. And for the state of Arunachal Pradesh, it's 70% of the population is dependent on the agriculture. And thus, the need of today's focused deliberation on strengthening the key elements of the sector, which is the logistic. For transforming the rural farm economy of Arunachal Pradesh and to develop its core strength, there are series of initiatives taken by the government of Arunachal Pradesh, ranging from farm mechanization program to having its own organic farming policy, the Chief Minister Shashakt Kisan Yojana to supporting agriculture entrepreneurs and startup. The state has been leading in all fronts to support the agriculture sector, and it is honor and privilege for all of us to have Shri Tage Taki, Honorable Chief Minister, Government of Arunachal Pradesh Agriculture Sector. Sir, thank you so much for considering to join us, and welcome to this initiative of ours in partnership with NABARD Arunachal Pradesh. Logistic and transportation constitute an important and relevant part of an agri supply chain system, being the forerunner for the delivery of raw material, intermediate and finished goods and products from one unit to another makes it very critical to overall functioning of the value chain, right from the source up to the customers. Efficient logistics system in rural tribal area is essential, as it would strengthen the distribution channel for agriculture inputs and products to and fro rural area. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the crux of our program, in partnership with NABARD, the national nodal agency, which actively works with FPOs and other stakeholders. I welcome and introduce Mr. BP Mishra, DGM NABARD, who has been instrumental in leading NABARD exemplary work in the state, and he has served in several other states like Odisha, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, Assam. Our distinguished panelists today are experts with several years of sectoral experience and have worked at grassroots level with the farmers and the FPOs and have contributed towards national and state policies in the field of agri-farming. They bring the knowledge and experience of transportation, cold chain, warehousing, agri-tech, and have worked with several state governments across the country. Our panelists today will show the way forward to us for cultivating strong logistic enterprise in the area, talk about the digitalization, take up the possibilities of moving from unorganized to organized operation, talk about warehousing, storage, forward, backward integration, etc. And the recent COVID-19 outbreak, which proved to be a vehement spoilsport for the earning at each level of interaction and transaction within the logistic and transportation system, will certainly be discussed. We look forward to their thoughts, and we also look forward to the questions and the concerns which you may post in the chat boxes. Without much further delay, I would like to invite Chairman Mr. Mahendra Agarwal for his address. Over to you, Chairman, sir, for your thoughts.
Thank you, Parvinder ji. Honorable Agriculture Minister, Mr. Tage Taki, members of ASSOCHAM, our distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen. Agriculture is one of the most important sector for Indian economy. We can say this is the backbone of our country. It employs 70% household depends on it, and it is a 19.9% contribution to total GDP of our country. This is the only sector which has posed a positive growth of 3.4% in 2021. It is employing more than 50% of Indian population. And FY20 has a record 300 million ton of production, up by 11.5 million ton from FY19. It is among the 15 leading exporters of agriculture produce in the world. Its organic sector is growing at a CAGR of 10% and estimated to touch 75,000 crores by 2025. And processed food market is expected to touch 35 lakh crores by 2025 from present 20 lakh crores. And Government of India is well aware of its importance, and it has given a full thrust to accelerate and pace it further. They brought in new farmers law to increase the farmers' income, and under the National Food Security Act, they have increased the procurement allotment by 56%. Then there is a PM Kisan Sampada Yojana, PM Krishi Sinchai Yojana, and recently they have brought in PLI scheme to boost production. And there is a transport and marketing assistance scheme also. And the food under food sector, mega and mini food parks scheme is there. And recently they have launched Operation Green, providing 50% subsidy on rail, road, and even air in many of the areas. When we talk of Northeast and Arunachal, I had the opportunity of visiting most of the parts of Arunachal, right from Kalaktan to Longding, Naharlagun, Jairampur, Sepa. This is the largest state of Northeast, having 84,000 square kilometer of area, and population density is only 17 per square kilometer. It has 3 international borders as well. Its foothill starts at 50 meters sea level and ascends up to 7,000 meters. Thus, it has a varied agroclimatic conditions which is suitable for all kind of agriculture produce. And traditionally, this state is organic by culture. 80% of the crop here is without chemical fertilizers. This is the first Indian state to get organic certification for its kiwis in October 20. And apple quality from Sergaon, Rupa, is even better than Kashmir. It has the potential to become Southeast Asia's organic hub. But we have challenges as well. It's rugged terrain with hills and rivers separating major districts from each other, making communication difficult. But we have seen a lot of improvements in the last few years. The Sadia Dhola Bridge, the Bogeybill Bridge near Dibrugarh, major bridges in most of the rivers and territories, and the Trans-Arunachal Highway, which is partially completed. And once it is completed, it will be connecting 16 districts along with Bhutan and Myanmar as well. This will be the lifeline for Arunachal once it is completed. But we still need more improvements. We need to create more infrastructures, like the Government of India's mini food park scheme is there. We can set up mini food parks, cold storages, warehouses, and good transport network is needed. And we need to make a cluster farming to make the logistic affordable. We have seen in tea plantation, which is coming up in a great way in Arunachal. We have seen a lot of processing units has also come up. It has all come up in the foothills. So we can set up something like that in a cluster farming. Today, discussion will certainly bring new ideas and solutions on this front and explore the opportunities that the state is offering. We, ASSOCHAM Northeast Development Council, along with national team, can be the nodal agency to showcase the opportunities of business flying and represent the interests of the region. I look forward to the fruitful interaction of the day. Over to Parvendaji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for touching upon the key developments which has happened and mentioning that there is a gap, which of course we all, under the able leadership of the minister, sir, look forward how to take it up and how to overcome. I would like to invite Mr. Ranjan D. Sen, our chairman for the Agriculture Sector Inputs Council. Ranjan has been extensively working with the partners on the ground. He's been in close contact with the FPOs and is joining us from Patna, where he's actually traveled down to Patna to meet the CM's team about the Jivika project. So over to Ranjanji to share his thoughts on resolving some of the logistic challenges which come up in the agriculture sector. Your thoughts, Ranjan, please.
Thank you, Parminderji. Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Shri Takichi, Mr. Mahendra Agarwal, Chairman, Northeastern Region Development Council, ASSOCHAM, other dignitaries in the session. On behalf of ASSOCHAM, I welcome all of you. Thank you for this. Thank you to the Honorable Minister for making his time on this, providing his valuable time to all of us. As Mahendraji has detailed about the potentiality and the strategic contribution of Arunachal to many in this particular program, I will dwell into the fact of how ASSOCHAM and other industrial and logistics solutions provider can play a pivotal role in changing the Arunachal Pradesh sector, agriculture and logistics sector, to a much more productive and growth. In my experience and making any other technology plays a pivotal role in transforming any challenges that we come across in agri and food sectors. As logistics is where majority, not only the farmers, but as a consumers get connected in the total area, even the logistics plays a major role in how we connect with the farmers. Similarly, consumers, how they get access to the produce of a location like Arunachal Pradesh or other northeastern states or any places in India, how a consumer get access to the produce is also a major part where logistics plays a major role. Now, with my experience and the experience of my team, I come across to you with a like the basic challenge like kiwi as a fruit and several horticulture fruit. There is a major problem as they are perishable commodities. How we could add value to the perishable, how could we actually get this perishable commodity across to the consumer, even when the logistics supply chain like cold chain is not available, is where a lot of new technology is also working on. There are technologies where natural oils and other things are being used to increase the shelf life of the producers, where without any cold chain or without any support structures, infrastructure cost. So this new knowledge and solutions can play a major role in how many perishable commodities from the northeastern states can reach mainland major markets like Delhi, Calcutta, Mumbai, Chennai, and other metro cities, and even to export destinations. There are solutions from farm to fork and delivery model where we need to work together and with many new companies and new ventures which is coming across, and how we can actually contribute to the values without adding much cost to the system is where we can play a major role in the system. MOBCD NER, like Mr. Mahendraji has already said, has contributed to a major infrastructure development for the northeastern people, specifically to areas like Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Manipur, Assam, and Nagaland. But how this value chain we can come across with the best solutions is where ideas can converge and together we can contribute to the changes. Real-time logistic data and IoT-based sensors working with cold refer when adding shelf life of the crop is where new technologies are also coming across with the solutions. And here, with my experience, with our team experience and my experience, if there is any changes that we need and the ASSOCHAM team, where we can come across to the ministry and play a pivotal role in bringing these technologies to your doorstep, will be what we all look forward to. Thank you, all of you, and the Honorable Minister specifically for providing his valuable time. And extremely sorry, actually, been traveling a lot. And thank you for providing me this opportunity also to provide some value, some knowledge to you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Parminderji.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sain, for sharing that convergence is the key, working together is the key, and the new solutions which can be availed by the local farmers to enhance the shelf life so that the transportation challenges can be handled are some of the good thoughts. I think we would discuss this further when we are in the panel session and we interact with our experts from the logic sector domain. Uh, I would now take this opportunity to welcome and request Mr. Mishra, our partner NABARD, to share the good work the NABARD has been doing in Arunachal and take us through the journey, how NABARD is supporting and plans to support the logistics or the other agri challenges of the region, which will be a food for thought for our panelists when they dwell upon this core theme. Over to you, Mr. Mishra.
Thank you, Madam. Good morning, Honorable Minister, Department of Agriculture, Arunachal Pradesh, Chairman ASSOCHAM, Director ASSOCHAM, and distinguished panels. And what I feel, this is a very good occasion because we have difficulty. Everybody has expressed that Arunachal Pradesh has a lot of potential, but it's a difficult state having a hilly terrain. Major part of the state covers hilly area, and the southern part of the state has some plain land. And here I want, before going into the details what NABARD is doing, I want to say something about the logistic. Everybody has spoken regarding this, but logistic is a value adding process. The components adds value, reduces or minimizes wastage, and gives better remuneration to the farmer. In the district level, I have seen that one farmer who is cultivating, it takes 2 months to cultivate vegetable. So for example, beans, he sells at the farm gate at the rate of 14 rupees only, 1/4 per kg, to a middleman who picks up his produce, and at only 35 or 40 kilometers away, he sell it to the retailers at the rate of 35 rupees. Just imagine the person who is toiling for 2 months, what kind of margin he is getting, and the middleman, what kind of margin he reaps. And finally, the common customer, common people, they are purchasing at the rate of 40 rupees per kg. That is the thing. And very often what we find, the people are selling, it is a distress sell only because they know they can't store. They have to pluck and they have to sell in time. Otherwise, it will rot in the field or in their house. That is why, particularly Arunachal, here measure the crop production, particularly grains. It is only subsistence level production is there. It is not for sale. That is why one procure system which we see in other states, it is there. Government offers minimum support price, but that system is probably not here in Arunachal because sufficient food production is not there, grain production is not there. But so far as fruits and vegetables are concerned, Arunachal has a lot of potentials. There are a lot of exotic fruits which are produced in this state: apple, orange, then persimmon, pineapple. All these things are produced in this state. Even floriculture also. It is the state where orchid is growing in plenty, and other even lavenders. It has potential for chestnut, walnut. But thing is that people are not cultivating in commercial scale. Why they are not cultivating? It is because of the logistic problem. Because they will produce, they will cultivate. Ultimate, when they are not getting any market, they will never get their remuneration. And if we divide the agriculture products into grain, fruit, then processed item, then these are having different shelf life. That is why in order to increase their shelf life, we have to see the stages. One is production stage, then storage, then processing, then distribution. And the common link is transportation. Everybody was talking about the importance of transportation. And this state, it doesn't have any, airport. That is a connectivity problem. And somebody was talking about, you have already conducted this program for the state of Manipur, and there one of the speaker, he was saying that a lot of vegetables are airlifted from Manipur to other states, but that facility is not there. Similarly, minister has also expressed, and other speakers, they have also expressed, because of the difficult terrain, road development, it takes time, and even if it is prepared, and there is always landslide and other natural calamities, it is getting destroyed. And that is why it is also too difficult to establish smooth transportation of vegetables and fruits from one place to another. Then another thing is the storage. I can say one thing, and when I was talking about the discussion held in Minister Saab's chamber, there he was expressing his concern regarding the storage facility. There are only 3 cold storages he was telling, then all these 3 storages are not functioning. And as regards godowns, as per my record, I have that there are 29 godowns of different capacity, out of which 14 are under FCI and 15 are in labs. There are 34 labs. And the problem is that here we have entire one cooperative, that is two-tier cooperative structure, particularly in marketing and agriculture. This cooperative bank takes a lot of constructive role. But here it has some inherent weaknesses. And there is a very weak link between the state apex body, that is state cooperative bank, and the 34 labs. It has to be strengthened. And particularly everywhere you go in these labs or packs, they are the most active agency, and they participate in paddy procurement and marketing of PDS items. But here it is not there. And another point is that then what should be the logistic in the production level, then farm mechanization, then knowledge input. These are the requirement for knowledge input. And the KVK is there, ICR is there, agriculture university is there, then lab, soil testing labs and other labs. Supply chain for fertilizer and other inputs, and storage level, then godowns, cold storage, ripening chamber, raised platforms, drying yards, all these things can be developed. Processing, it can be divided into 2 parts, that is primary grading and sorting, then other processing like adding values, packaging and other things. And then I will come to, these are the problems which we are facing. And I must say that what NABARD is doing. RIDF, everybody knows about that. There are a lot of 37 items under RIDF. We are providing loan to state government for increasing production, establishing markets and storage yards. then establishing process units, then information dissemination. Then another, and establishment of connectivity, that is roads and bridges. Another fund is there, that is credit facility to federations, which Arunachal Pradesh has not availed till date. And I will ask Minister Saab if something is done. And generally, the cash component or short-term loan is given to the marketing federations for marketing purpose. And there are a lot of things which can be done through this fund if it is availed by the state government. Then we also, for increasing the productivity, there is tribal development fund and watershed development fund. And particularly in Arunachal Pradesh, in place of watershed development, we are developing spring sets. Where springs are drying up, we are taking up all these products in the Papumpare district. One project is going on, and in Loan Subansiri also one project is going on. And as regards the farmers producers organization, we are promoting farmers producers organizations, and basically at the lower level, aggregation is the most important, because farmers are producing in a low quantity and it has to be aggregated so that they can fetch better price and it can be marketed in a better way. Another thing is that food processing fund for establishment of food parks, state sponsored or designated food mega food park of central government, for establishing processing unit in the food park, NABARD can extend support. Then another thing is that for training and capacity building, we are supporting constants. I have already told, and we will be continue to support in all these fields. But this is an opportunity where we will be churning various issues. This will be I expect that this will be a brainstorming session, and at the end, something will come out, some new constructive ideas, some implementable action plan will come out, and the leader is there, the agriculture minister is there, definitely will come along with other experts. Something will, some solution will come out, and it will be better for the organization, state, to establish required logistic for the development in the agriculture and horticulture sector. And I'm eager to listen to all the panelists. Thank you for the opportunity you have given. And yes, another intervention NABARD is doing, that this is the program which has been sponsored by us. Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. You have been our partner, and definitely we are as optimistic as you are that at the end of the program we put our energies together to come forward to some kind of solutions. Obviously, as Minister Sir was talking before the start of the program, and the many of thoughts which you have shared are the challenges, but collectively we have to put in our wisdom that what are the solutions given the current scenario we can work. And of course, COVID has had its own impact and challenges. We have Honorable Minister, and obviously we would like to like him to share his thoughts. But before that, Minister Sir, with your kind permission, we would like to release the ASSOCHAM NABARD study report, which has been created for this specific occasion, which has been supported duly by the NABARD. So we have worked hard. Our advisor is here, Mr. Ranjita Ghosh, who has taken the lead in working with her team to see the report goes. May I request my colleagues to put on the slides for the release of the report part, please. So, Honorable Minister, sir, the whole thought was that with NABARD, we wanted to work on this program and come up with some agriculture logistic solutions, highlighting the challenges, which of course has been mentioned. And this whole study has been supported by NABARD. I would also like to congratulate NABARD team for 40 years of their foundation and their journey. for having been for Indian farmers and the development of the rural area. We sincerely thank them for all the support which they have extended for this study. We shall be printing this study in hard copy format, and it will be provided to all the stakeholders. Honorable Minister, sir, we hope कि COVID ठीक हो जाए and we are able to come and present a copy personally to you. That's
Yes,
what our hope is. So with
Yes.
this kind words, sir, on behalf of ASSOCHAM family and Chairman Mahendra Agarwal ji, we will now request you to share few words with our audience. Your thoughts, sir, Honorable Minister, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. My word is audible?
Sir, yes, sir,
Hello?
you're audible. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay. Chairman ASSOCHAM अग्रवाल जी, नवाब GM, ASSOCHAM का सारा पद अधिकारीगण, आज का इस वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस का थ्रू मीटिंग में पार्टिसिपेट करने वाले सारा लर्नेड पर्सन्स, मैं आप सबको मेरी ओर से और मेरा डिपार्टमेंट की ओर से मैं मेरा हार्दिक धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं कि आपने हमारा स्टेट को लेते हुए इतना संघर्ष कर रहे हैं और आज इस संघर्ष का आउटपुट में हमें भी आपके साथ पार्टिसिपेट करने के जो मौका मिला है, मैं इसीलिए आप सबको सदैव आभारी रहूंगा पर्सनली, और सारा मेरा स्टेट का लोग आप सबको आभारी रहेंगे। देखिए, ऐसा डिस्कशंस में हम इनफॉर्मेलिटी ज्यादा करेंगे rather than formal way of taking the meetings. इनफॉर्मल मीटिंग में हम अंदरूनी बात तक चले जाते हैं और रियल चीज को निकलते हैं। फॉर्मल मीटिंग में that become like a paper presentations, sometimes fruitful उतना नहीं होते। हम आज आप सबका साथ में बैठ करके ये अरुणाचल के बारे में ज्योग्राफिकल, इसका क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशंस, इसका रिवर रेन, ट्रिब्यूलेट, अदर कंडीशन को डिस्कस नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि आप सब पूरी उसका ऊपर में स्टडी कर चुके हैं। इन्हें हम बार बार करने का कोई जरूरत नहीं है। अरुणाचल कहाँ पे लोकेटेड है वो आप सबको पता है। अरुणाचल में कितना बड़ा बड़ा नदियां हैं और सब आप सबको पते हैं, और कितना रिवर रिव्यूलेट वो पते हैं। अभी अभी इंट्रोडक्शन में आप लोग ने बोला सी लेवल से 50 मीटर से लेकर के 700 मीटर तक ऊपर तक की हमारे पहाड़ी फैली हुई है, और इसमें ठंड कितना वर्ग में है, गर्म कितना वर्ग में, वर्षा कितना होती है, और सारा आपका पास रिकॉर्ड है। इसका ऊपर हम लोग डिस्कस नहीं करेंगे। लेट अस मेक इट ए वेरी डायरेक्ट कि अरुणाचल प्रदेश की सोशियो इकोनॉमिकल डेवलपमेंट हमारा एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में कितना कनेक्टेड है, और इस सोशियो कल्चरल डेवलपमेंट को ज्यादा चेर नहीं करते हुए बायोडाइवर्सिटी को में रखते हुए वासियों का थ्रू हम इतना 84,000 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर लैंड में से हम किस हिसाब का प्रोडक्शन करेंगे, कैसा हम किया जा सकता है, उसका ऊपर में हम लोग थोड़ा स्ट्रेस देके डिस्कस करने से हमारा बहुत ही कारगर साबित होगा। मैं ऐसा सोचता हूं। आप जानते हैं अरुणाचल 84,000 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर वर्ग में हमारा 14 लाख पॉपुलेशन ही रहते हैं। नाउ टॉक अबाउट दैट, ये जो अरुणाचल का 84,000 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर में हमारा यहाँ अभी तक 25 डिस्ट्रिक्ट है, 25 डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर, जिनमें से भी 19 डिस्ट्रिक्ट हमारा वेल सेट अप है, और 6 डिस्ट्रिक्ट अभी नया नया क्रिएट हुआ है एट द वर्ज ऑफ सेटिंग अप। अब इसका पॉपुलेशन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन आप देखा जाए कि हमारा यहाँ इन टोटलिटी में 26 ट्राइब है और कई सब ट्राइब है। 26 ट्राइब भी एक दूसरा का भाषा जानते नहीं है, सब ट्राइब भी एक दूसरा का भाषा जानते नहीं है। एक दूसरा को मुलाकात करने के लिए या तो 24 आवर्स या 6 घंटा या 8 घंटा चल के ही एक गांव से दूसरा गांव पहुंचते हैं। अकॉर्डिंगली जिस हिसाब से हम लोग का सेटलमेंट है उसी तरीका से हमारा एग्रीकल्चर हॉर्टिकल्चर का जुरिडिक्शन में बांटा हुआ है। ना गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने लास्ट फ्यू इयर्स में हम लोग ने फार्मर्स को अपलिफ्ट करने का काफी पॉलिसी ली हुई है, लाइक फॉर्मेशंस ऑफ हमारा फार्मर्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप इत्यादि कई तरीका का हम लोग ने फॉर्मूला ली है। पर अनफॉर्चुनेटली जिस जगह में पॉपुलेशन कॉन्सेंट्रेट है उस जगह में हमारा फार्मर लैंड कम है, जिस जगह में फार्मर लैंड ज्यादा है उसमें पॉपुलेशन कम है। There are several problems in the state to organize like government of India's policy. ना इसमें अभी मैं अंत के बाद शुरुआत में आपको एक रेफर करते हुए मैं बात करना चाहता हूं कि लाइक अभी एग्रीकल्चर पॉलिसी ऑफ गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया में जितना पॉलिसी है आज का डेट में हमने देखा गया है कि आपका एग्रीकल्चर बजटिंग सिस्टम जो है 60% of budgeting system is of the post harvesting activities, जबकि हमारा अरुणाचल जैसा स्टेट में हमको एरिया एक्सपेंशन में 80% पॉलिसी हमको अभी लेना चाहिए। अभी नाबार्ड के जीएम ने अभी आपके सामने रखी है कि प्रोडक्शन अभी तक जो कुछ भी हम करते हैं हम अपना सेल्फ खाने भर का ही कर रहे हैं, हम एक्सपोर्ट का टारगेट लेके अभी तक की नहीं है ना। जब तक हम एक्सपोर्ट का टारगेट लेके नहीं करेंगे तो पोस्ट हार्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटी अभी हम बहुत स्ट्रेस देके हमको बहुत फायदा नजर नहीं आ रहा है। नाउ अनदर इशू, हाउ टू गो विद अगेन द एरिया एक्सपेंशन। देयर आर टू मेजर प्रॉब्लम्स इन आवर स्टेट। वन इज बायोडाइवर्सिटी प्रिजर्वेशन। अगर हम स्कैर्पसली हम अगर एग्रीकल्चर डेवलपमेंट करना चाहेगा तो इन्वायरमेंटल हजार्ड हो जाएगा, उसको भी हमको ध्यान में रखना पड़ेगा। जो हम पहाड़ में रहते हैं ना, यू सी दैट होल ऑफ हिमालयन रीजन इज बैलेंसिंग द वर्ल्ड क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशंस। इंडिया का तो कहना नहीं, होल वर्ल्ड का ही हम लोग बैलेंसिंग कर रहे हैं। वी आर द मेजर कार्बन प्रोवाइडर टू द होल ऑफ द वर्ल्ड पॉपुलेशन। तो हम अगर ज्यादा चेरचार करेंगे तो इसमें भी डिसबैलेंस होने का चांसेस है। नाउ अनदर प्रॉब्लम्स कम्स अप नाउ एज पर द नेशनल पॉलिसी। हमको वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी का कई जगह में लगाया है, हमको नेचुरल एनिमल्स वाइल्ड एनिमल्स को भी कंजर्व करना है। अगर वाइल्ड एनिमल्स को कंजर्व करते हैं, अब प्लेन एरिया में आप देखें, लेट अस टॉक अबाउट द असम, टॉक अबाउट द मिजोरम, talk about the Meghalaya, and likewise Indian other parts में भी है। हमने जंगल जानवर रहने का जगह को बहुत जगह को हम इंक्रोच कर दिए है अभी ऑलरेडी ना, टाइगर्स का, हाथी का, बाघ का, भालू का एंड अदर एनिमल्स, वी हैव ऑल डिस्टर्ब देयर किंगडम। अब ये डिस्टर्ब करने का वजह से ना हमारा स्टेट जैसा जहां पर एक्सप्लोरेशन ज्यादा नहीं हुआ, ऑल एनिमल्स आर कंसंट्रेटिंग ओवर देयर। मेजर वन प्रॉब्लम। अनदर प्रॉब्लम्स, हम अरुणाचल वाले प्योरली डोमेस्टिक एनिमल पालने का पहले से हैबिट नहीं है, ये हमारा कल्चरल एस्पेक्ट है। हम सेमी डोमेस्टिक एनिमल ही पालते हैं, लाइक मिथुन हुआ, याक हुआ, देन लाइकवाइज अदर एनिमल्स जो हम पालते हैं और जंगल में फ्री छोड़ के हम एनिमल को अपना प्रॉपर्टी जैसा रखते हैं। नाउ अभी हम लोग मॉडर्न डेवलपमेंट टच होने के वजह से हम जिस जगह में पहले मिथुन का ग्रेजिंग लैंड, एनिमल का ग्रेजिंग लैंड जहां पर बनाया करते थे, नाउ वी स्टार्टेड फार्मिंग। We started farming of large cardamom. We started farming of your ginger. We started farming of apple, kiwi, अखरोट, सारा जंगल को हम लोग का डिस्टर्ब कर रहे हैं अभी ना। उसका साथ साथ में हमें अपना खाने भर का सब्जियां भी उगाना है, मिलेट का पाम भी बनाना है, राइस का कल्टीवेशन भी बनाना है ना। इसमें एक सबसे बड़ा चैलेंजेस आ रहा है कि अभी जंगल जानवर का डिस्टर्बेंस, बांदर बाघ भालू तो होता ही है, उसका अतिरिक्त अभी हमारा डोमेस्टिक सेमी डोमेस्टिक एनिमल जो मेरा पाला हुआ एनिमल भी हमारा खेतियों में इंक्रोच करना लग गया। नाउ गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का पॉलिसी के हिसाब से आपका स्केलिंग जो कर रहे हैं वो ऑलवेज टेक द स्केल ऑफ पंजाब, हरियाणा, गुजरात, उड़ीसा, तमिलनाडु, इसका स्केलिंग को रख के यहाँ दिल्ली में बैठ के आप लोग फॉर्मूले करते हैं कि खेती किस ढंग से करना चाहिए। इससे और हम में से थोड़ा अंतर है। ये अंतर होने का वजह से हमारा यहाँ फेंसिंग का प्रावधान किसी भी जगह में नहीं है ना। मेजर प्रॉब्लम इज दैट मैं आज आपका एसोचाम के थ्रू से मैं ये आपका भाषा में आप लोग के थ्रू गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया को भी पहुंचाना चाहता हूं कि अरुणाचल रिक्वायर एट प्रेजेंट इज द area expansion. Number one, to make an area expansion on the large scale cultivations, we need a fencing provision. नाबार्ड का जीएम भी बैठे हुए, आप मेरा फाइनेंशियल स्टेटस को स्टेट का तो बहुत अच्छी तरीके से मालूम है। हमारा पास इतना अफोर्डेबल अमाउंट नहीं है कि हम स्टेट के ओर से लार्ज स्केल में हम ये सब को टैकल करें। जब भी एग्रीकल्चर, हॉर्टिकल्चर एंड एलाइड डिपार्टमेंट का प्लानिंग एंड प्रोग्रामिंग जो करते हैं, मैं मेरा स्टेट के लिए सिर्फ नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, लाइक आपका सिक्किम, अरुणाचल एंड इंक्लूडिंग यहाँ उत्तराखंड, हिमाचल प्रदेश, जब इस इलाका को हम लोग कंसिडर करते हैं तो इसका अलग सा एक फॉर्मुलेशंस करके एग्रोबेस एक्सपेंशंस का हम लोग को प्रावधान करना चाहिए। ये होने के बाद फिर आप देखिए हमारा कैसा आगे नहीं बढ़ते हैं। फिर हम आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं कि समतल एरिया मेरा पास कितना है, इट इज एनेक्स टू द असम, उसमें हम क्या क्या कल्टीवेशंस करेंगे। नेक्स्ट हमारा पास में प्लेटू एरिया कितना है, उसमें हम क्या क्या करेंगे। देन थर्ड हमारा पास बेली कितना है जो हमका कल्टीवेबल एरिया है। दीज आर दी नॉर्मल कन्वेंशनल मेथड ऑफ कल्टीवेशंस को हम ये चार तरीके से हमको एनालिसिस करके किस हिसाब से हम आगे बढ़ना चाहिए ये देखना है। नाउ एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी कल्टीवेशंस व्हिच स्ट्रिक्टली फॉर द अरुणाचल प्रदेश के लिए हम लोग को होगा कि हमारा मेडिसिनल प्लांट, आयुष को मैं सोचता हूं जितना आयुष का एंड आयुर्वेदिक मेडिसिन आज इंडिया में रिक्वायरमेंट है, you leave the rest of the world, Arunachal alone can be sufficient enough to supply whole world's आयुष मेडिसिन। अगर हम सही तरीके से इसको हार्नेस करेंगे तो हमारा स्टेट कैपेसिटी रखती है कि होल वर्ल्ड का आयुष मेडिसिन को हमारा यहाँ से प्रोवाइड किया जा सकता है अगर हम लोग ध्यान से करेंगे। देन एक्सोटिक फ्रूट, जितना वर्ल्ड में कॉस्टली फ्रूट है हमारे वेरियस एरिया में हम किया जा सकता है, और माउंटेन हिल्स में जिसको कि हम लोग कौन कौन सा फ्रूट्स सेड फेमिलियर है, सेड लवली है, जिसको कि विदाउट मच ऑफ द डिस्ट्रक्शन हम लोग जंगल का अंदर में कल्टीवेट किया जा सकता है। कौन कौन सा फ्रूट है जो टोटल जंगल क्लीनिंग का बाद में फ्रूट को रिहेबिलिटेशन कर सकता है, वो हमको स्टडी करना पड़ेगा। ये सारा चीज करने के बाद हमको एक कॉन्क्रीट फॉर्म में ये करना है, लाइक तावांग से लेके लोंगडिंग तक का एरिया में हम आइडेंटिफाई करना है कि कौन सा एरिया में क्या करना चाहिए। नाउ फिलहाल हमारा डिपार्टमेंट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ अरुणाचल प्रदेश ने हम लोग एक डिसीजन लिया है जब तक हम लोग लार्ज स्केल प्रोडक्शन नहीं होगा तो फार्मर्स के इनकम हम बन ही नहीं सकता है। इसीलिए इस बार हम लोग ने पॉलिसी ये ली गई है, कहां तक सक्सेस होगा हम लोग अभी देखेंगे, कि 1 डिस्ट्रिक्ट 1 प्रोडक्ट। लार्ज स्केल फॉर्म में जाने के लिए हमने 1 डिस्ट्रिक्ट 1 प्रोडक्ट का पॉलिसी अभी लगा के आत्मनिर्भर भारत के तहत हम सारा इंप्लीमेंट करने का अभी कोशिश कर रहे हैं। नवाद हमारा साथ दे रहे हैं इसमें भी, और मैं आशा रखता हूं कि इससे कई हद तक हमारा आगे बढ़ेगा। लेकिन इसका बावजूद भी अभी अभी जो आगे मैंने कहा है कि एनिमल कंजर्वेशन, इन्वायरमेंटल कंजर्वेशन, फॉरेस्ट प्रिजर्वेशन, वाटर कंजर्वेशन, चारों तरफ को दिल में रखते हुए अरुणाचल वासियों को भी आगे बढ़ाने का कौन सा प्रावधान से हम किसानों को आगे बढ़ाया जा सकता है, इसका ऊपर में हमको स्ट्रेस देना बहुत ही जरूरी है। ये मैं आशा करता हूं कि आगे आने वाला डिस्कशंस में आप लोग इसको जरूर पॉइंट में लाएंगे और इसका कोई सॉल्यूशन लाएंगे। एंड ये सॉल्यूशन आपका अंदर में डिस्कशन से आपको फाइंड आउट नहीं होगा। आप डिस्कशन करने के बाद जॉक आउट द पॉइंट, क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स है, कैसा किया जा सकता है, आप उसको पूरा लिस्ट आउट कर लीजिए। मेक ए गुड कोऑर्डिनेशन मीटिंग विथ माय पीपल। मेरा स्टेट में आके मेरा ही आदमी लोग का साथ में आप लोग कोऑर्डिनेशन मीटिंग कीजिए। हमने आपका स्टेट को डेवलपमेंट एंड चैलेंजेस को मीट अप करने के लिए कई मीटिंगें लगाया। ये प्रॉब्लम में स्टक अप हो गया, यू टेल मी हाउ टू डू इट। नाउ इससे आपका सॉल्यूशन भी निकलेगा, मेरा प्रावधान भी निकलेगा और किसानों का कल्याण भी होगा। ये जब तक हम लोग कोऑर्डिनेशन नहीं करेंगे, हम नेशनल पॉलिसी में सीधा जाने से बनेगा नहीं। मैं इसीलिए बार बार यहाँ मिनिस्ट्री में भी जाके बोलता हूँ, देखिए गवर्नमेंट में कई रूल्स बनाते हैं। रूल्स का मतलब नहीं है कि रूल्स में से 1 इंच भी आगे पीछे नहीं होगा, ऐसा बात नहीं है। रूल्स हैज गॉट ए 2 ऑब्जेक्ट, one beginning, another one is target। ये हमने बिगिन करना है और इसमें पहुंचना है। बीच वाला को इतना स्ट्रेस नहीं है, लेकिन हमारा ऑफिसर गण का एक आदत सा रह गया है, ये रूल्स है और लाइन खींचा है, हम लाइन से आगे पीछे नहीं करेंगे, ये बोलते हैं। इसका वजह से इंडिया में हम लोग रूल्स बनाने में बहुत जगह में फेल होता है। हमें ये क्या करना है, रूल्स का मुताबिक हम बिगिन कर लिए इस पॉइंट पे, लेकिन हम इस पॉइंट में एंड किया है, अचीवमेंट भी किया है। इसमें कैसा करके हमने अचीवमेंट किया है, उसको रूल्स का दायरे में रखना उतना जरूरी नहीं है। जैसे हाल में आप लोग ने महाभारत देखा है, क्या बोलते हैं, महाभारत एक धर्म का युद्ध है। आदमी को धर्म से भटकने से धर्म में वापस लाना है, पर धार्मिक है बोल के सीधी सीधी आप धर्म में जाने से तो आप आदमी को भटकते हुए आदमी को साथ में ला नहीं सकता है। किसी को लाने के लिए चल भी जरूरत होगा तो हमको चल भी चला करके धर्म में वापस लाना है। इसी तरीके से हमें रूल जरूर बनाना है, लेकिन रूल को डिविएट नहीं करेगा ये ना कहते हुए हमको टारगेट को ऑब्जेक्ट लेना चाहिए। उसी एंगल में आप लोग भी आज का मीटिंग में अगर डिस्कशन करेंगे, मेरा तो पूरी विश्वास है, कारण मैं जितना आपके पैनल में लोग हैं मैं इनको देखा, और जो एसोचैम का जितना ऑर्गेनाइजर है उनको कुछ कुछ तक मुझे पता है आपका सिंसियरिटी कितना हद तक है। मेरा पूर्ण विश्वास है कि आप लोग अरुणाचल को काफी हद तक उठा के ही छोड़ेगा, ये मैं आशा रखता हूं। फिर भी मैं कुछ पॉइंट जो कि आप लोग को हिसाब से जो करना चाहिए मैं उसको आपको बताता हूं, इन्हें आप लोग नोट कर लीजिए। पाम रोड, अभी हमारा गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने नेशनल हाईवे बिल्डिंग के लिए काफी पैसा खर्चा कर रहा है। इवन फरवरी में भी 1100 करोड़ से ऊपर इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है। कई किलोमीटर रोड बनाने का प्रावधान है। मेरा पूर्ण विश्वास है और आशा भी है, अभी चल भी रहा है, बाय द एंड ऑफ 2023 लगभग एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट से लेके दूसरा डिस्ट्रिक्ट आने जाने का ये नेशनल हाईवे का कंस्ट्रक्शन हम लोग खत्म कर लेंगे। उसका बावजूद भी हमको फार्म एक्टिविटी के लिए कई रोड लगेंगे, किसी में 5 किलोमीटर, किसी में 3 किलोमीटर, किसी में 2.5 किलोमीटर। और जो है वो रोड हम कॉस्टली रोड नहीं बनाएंगे, ट्रैक्टर प्लायबल का ग्रेवल रोड बनाने का ये आप लोग एक प्लान में डालना चाहिए। हाईवे टू फार्म, ब्लेज टू फार्म, डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर टू फार्म, तब जाकर के हमारा किसानों में अभी बिगिनिंग से ही हमारा मशीनरी इक्विपमेंट ले जाने का, तेल ले जाने का ये हमारा आएगा। अनदर इशू हमारा यहाँ अरुणाचल में जो आ रहा है, इट इज द लेबर प्रॉब्लम। वैसा भी हमारा पॉपुलेशन आप लोग को मैं गिन के दिखाता हूँ, 14 लाख पॉपुलेशन है। 14 लाख पॉपुलेशन में लगभग 2 लाख तो बाहर का है। उसमें से 3 लाख पॉपुलेशन तो हमारे बच्चे लोग हैं जो पढ़ाई लिखाई कर रहे हैं। उसमें से 2 लाख पॉपुलेशन तो वृद्ध है जो घर में बैठते हैं। उसमें से 2 लाख पॉपुलेशन तो सरकारी कर्मचारी है। बाकी बचा हुआ आदमी से फार्मिंग एक्टिविटीज का इतना लार्ज स्केल में हैंडल नहीं कर पा रहा है ना। अरुणाचल में पाम को अगर हम बहुत ही बड़ा स्ट्रेंथ लेके अगर काम करना है तो वी विल हैव टू फॉलो द टेक्नोलॉजी ऑफ यूरोपियन कंट्री एंड मिडिल ईस्ट का, लाइक कोरिया, साउथ कोरिया, जापान। यहाँ का फॉर्मूले हमको अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा। एक आदमी को 100 हाथ लगाना पड़ेगा। एक आदमी को हम 100 हाथ कैसा लगाएगा? 100 हाथ तो सिर्फ काली माँ का साथ है, लेकिन हम लगाया जा सकता है। हमें छोटा छोटा मशीनों का इनोवेशन करना पड़ेगा जो कि हम पहाड़ों में ले जा सके और उसी का जरिए से काम कर पाए। ऐसा औजार का तैयार करना है। इसी का ऊपर में आप लोग थोड़ा स्ट्रेस देना है। हमारे इंडिया में एग्रो मशीन प्रोडक्शन का काफी लोग निकल गया है। ओनली थिंग्स इज दैट स्पेसिफिकेशन, एरिया स्पेसिफिकेशन वाइज हम हिली टेराइन को रखते हुए स्ट्रेट हुए उसी का मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के लिए हम लोग कुछ करना होगा, जिसके बदौलत हमारा यहाँ पर प्रोडक्शन बहुत आगे बढ़ेंगे। आजकल काफी चीजें निकल भी गया। हम लोग चीफ मिनिस्टर मशीनरी का, पाम मशीनरी के मुताबिक काफी लोगों को हम लोग दे भी चुका है, लाइक पावर टिलर हुआ, रोटरी टेलर हुआ, देन स्मॉल ट्रैक्टर्स हुआ, औजार, देन हमारा कटर, ग्रास कटर हुआ। ऐसा करके काफी दिया। इससे भी बहुत आगे बढ़ रहा है। तो बावजूद भी हम महसूस कर रहे हैं कि कुछ और निकलना चाहिए। ये हम लोग दिल में रखते हुए इसमें क्रिएशन का बात करना चाहिए। नाउ यस, पोस्ट हार्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटीज में हमारा कोल्ड स्टोरेज का जगह जगह में जरूरत तो है। कोल्ड स्टोरेज रहेगा। ऑलरेडी डेवलप्ड हमारा एग्रीकल्चर एरिया में अभी बहुत सा जगह में ऐसा है, साल को सिर्फ एक ही बार ही हम लोग फसल उगा पाते हैं। मान लो समर सीजन में हमने पेडी का फसल डाला तो विंटर सीजन में वैकेंट रह जाता है। अरुणाचल में ऐसा बहुत सा जगह है, विंटर में हम ऑफ सीजन के वेजिटेबल बहुत सी लार्ज क्वांटिटी में हम उगाया जा सकता है, परंतु उसको रख के पैकिंग पुकिंग करने का, पोस्ट हार्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटीज का प्रावधान नहीं रहने की वजह से फार्मर्स लोग उतना ही उग रहे हैं जो उनको खुद पीठ में बुक के बाजार तक सेल करने लायक का ही सीमित रखा हुआ है। ये अनदर इशू में फिर उसमें दोहराऊंगा। फेंसिंग नहीं रहने की वजह से विंटर को भटकते हुए गाय, बैल, भैंसे, मिथुन सारा डिस्टर्ब करने की वजह से कोई काम करने में दिलचस्पी नहीं रह रहा है। इसका ऊपर में भी अगर हम लोग इंटरेस्ट किया जाएगा तो हमारा ये हो जाएगा। पोस्ट हार्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटीज में हम अभी रूरल सेक्टर में ज्यादा टारगेट ना करते हुए हमारा डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर में डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर में पहले हमको टारगेट करना पड़ेगा कि हम हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर में कम से कम 500 टन का कैपेसिटी वाला कोल्ड स्टोरेज बनाए और उसी का मुताबिक पैकिंग, फॉरवर्डिंग, सॉर्टिंग ये आइटम को लगाया जाए। जिस जगह में पाम बनाया है उस पाम गेट में छोटा छोटा स्टोरेज, जो कि कुछ हद तक हम उसको कोल्ड स्टोरेज का तरीका से कर पाए, ऐसा सोलर एनर्जी हो या गैस का एनर्जी हो, उसके माध्यम से बनाने का हम लोग प्रावधान का ऊपर में थोड़ा सोचना पड़ेगा, जहां पर 50 टन, 100 टन, 200 टन का हम लोग ने स्टोरेज कर पाए जब तक उनको इवाकुएट नहीं करता है। देन ट्रांजिट गोदाम जैसा अभी हमारा आउटलेट है, यहाँ से लाया जाए तो बालूपुंग, होलोंगी, किमीन, लेकावाली, देन पासीघाट, इस तरीका का जहां असम और अरुणाचल के बीच वाला एंट्री गेट में हम ट्रांजिट गोदाम अगर हर जगह में रखा जाए तो हमारा बिजनेस एप्लीकेशंस के लिए बहुत ही कामयाब होगा, ये मैं सोचता हूं। उसका ऊपर में हम अभी हमारा गवर्नमेंट का थ्रू से जितना भी अभी हमारा गांव की और यहाँ में जो खेती बाड़ी जो कर रहा है, ओनली एक्सेप्ट फ्यू पूरा का पूरा ऑर्गेनिक ही कर रहा है। बहुत से जगह में ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेट वाला को लेके चला जाए विदाउट डूइंग एनीथिंग, जस्ट टेस्ट करो, आप सर्टिफिकेट दे दो बोलने लायक का भी कई जगह। इसको प्रिजर्व करने के लिए हम लोग ने अभी ऑर्गेनिक हिसाब से बायो फर्टिलाइजर का मैन्युफैक्चरर्स हम अभी 2 जगह में अभी लगाने जा रहे हैं इस साल, एक नामसाई में, एक जीरो में। उसका साथ साथ में वर्मी कंपोज यूनिट, ऑर्गेनिक फर्टिलाइजर के जितना हो सके अभी हम लोग इनकरेज कर रहे हैं। कीवी का तो हमारा ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेट मिल चुके हैं, नामसाई एरिया में कुछ चावल का मिल चुके हैं, और भी हम लोग कुछ कुछ कर रहे हैं जहां पर हम लोग को ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन के लिए ये साल और अगले साल में बहुत जगह का भी निकलना बाकी है। ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेट तो आप लोग थोड़ा सहारा देंगे और हम मेहनत करेंगे, शायद मिल ही जाएंगे, लेकिन ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेट देने लायक का बनाने के लिए आप लोग भी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया को मेरे साथ थोड़ा सा फाइट करना पड़ेगा ताकि अरुणाचल प्रोडक्शन में और आगे बढ़े। नाउ फॉर एग्जांपल मैं आपको एक बात बताता हूँ, मिडिल ईस्ट कंट्री से अभी तक इडेबल ऑयल हमारा गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया 70,000 करोड़ का एनुअली एक्सपेंडिचर कर रहा है। हमें इस 70,000 करोड़ को रोकने के लिए हमारा अरुणाचल में ऑयल पाम ऑयल का कल्टीवेशन अभी हमने चालू किया है। पाम ऑयल हमारा यहाँ इतना अच्छा है, आई थिंक नोवेयर इन द वर्ल्ड, कारण पाम ऑयल इज बेसिकली इट इज ए वाटर लवेबल प्लांट जहां पर हरदम पानी देना पड़ता है। हमारा यहाँ पानी देने का नहीं, कुदरत हमको पानी दे रहा है, हम लगा दिया। अभी 3,000 हेक्टेयर अभी तैयार है, इस बार फ्रूटिंग स्टार्ट हो गया है। इसमें फैक्ट्री जल्दी से लगाया दिया जाए तो ये 70,000 करोड़ बाहर नहीं भागेंगे, हमारा देश में ही रह जाएगा। इसका ऊपर में भी आप लोग थोड़ा कल्पना कीजिए, स्ट्रेस देके किस हिसाब से इनको हम लोग रोक सकता है, इसका ऊपर में भी थोड़ा विचार विमर्श करो तो बहुत अच्छा रहेगा। देन बाकी आगे कहने से तो बहुत है, मैं तो एज ए पॉलिटिशियंस बहुत बात कर लेगा, लेकिन मैं आपका वैल्यूएबल टाइम में लेना नहीं चाहता, क्योंकि आप सब दिमाग वाले हैं, हमारे लिए फॉर्मूले ढूंढेंगे, हमारे लिए अच्छे अच्छे सिस्टम निकलेंगे, इसलिए आपको ज्यादा टाइम देते हुए मैं इन चंद बातों का साथ में मेरा वाणी यही विराम करना चाहता हूं। लेकिन जाने से पहले फिर से आप सबको मेरी ओर से, मेरा जनता की ओर से और मेरा डिपार्टमेंट की ओर से बहुत बहुत आभारी व्यक्त करता हूं, और इसी दिन का कार्य आप लोग करते रहेंगे, ये आशा रखते हुए ये मीटिंग बहुत सक्सेसफुल होगा। इसके लिए शुभकामनाएं देते हुए यहीं पे समाप्त करता हूं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू सो मच सर। और आपने एक पूरा रोड मैप बना दिया है हमारे लिए, और हमारी जिम्मेदारी बन जाती है कि आपकी कही हुई बातों को हम आगे लें और उस पर चर्चा करें, और फिर उसको वापस आए आपके ऑफिसर्स के साथ सलाह मशवरा करें और उसको लेकर फिर से टेबल पर बैठे, बिकॉज ये सिलसिला थोड़ा लंबा चलेगा, तभी कुछ सोल्यूशन निकल पाएगा। और सर आपने बहुत हमारे को गाइडेंस दिया है लोकल सॉल्यूशंस ढूंढने का, कोल्ड स्टोरेज के लिए, ट्रांजिट गोडाउन का, लोकल सॉल्यूशंस, बिकॉज जो सब जगह पंजाब और महाराष्ट्र में हो सकता है वो नॉर्थ ईस्ट में नहीं होता, ये बात हम समझते हैं, और उसको लोकल सॉल्यूशन को ढूंढना हमारी जिम्मेदारी बन जाती है सर, और हम इस पे काम करना चाहेंगे। और स्पेशली पाम ऑयल कल्टीवेशन की आपने बात की, ये पतंजलि वाले, गोदरेज एग्रोवेट, these are the players who are working in that domain, so we would like to take up the matter with them कि इस चीज को कैसे आगे बढ़ाया जा सकता है सर। थैंक यू सो मच सर फॉर योर
थैंक यू
टाइम,
मैडम।
आपने इतना समय हमें दिया सर, थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू सो
थैंक
मच
यू।
सर। We will now continue the discussion. We have been guided by Honorable Minister, and we will continue this discussion to talk more about the challenges. We are fully aware of the challenges now. We want to see what collectively can be done to bring forward the solutions for these challenges. Now I would give the command to Ranjita to take forward the discussion of the panel discussion. Ranjita, please take forward the agenda. Please introduce our panelists. We would like to have conversation being started by Tushar. We have Subhash ji. So you may just please continue the program further. Over to you, Ranjita.
Thank you so much, Parminder, and definitely it was like very important and very good insights that have been given by our Honorable Minister today. And we are looking forward to some of the solutions rather than just talking about all the things that are existing. So I'm looking forward to a very very exciting and very informative session today, and we are really glad to have some of presence of our eminent speakers today. So we have Mr. Ranjan Singh, our chairman, Agriculture Sub-Council Police. Mr. Manu Chaudhary is there. Professor Pinakeshwar Bhamka, Director, National Institute of Technology, Arunachal Pradesh. Dr. Subhash Bhattacharya is there. He's got a lot of experience and a lot of things he can share today. We welcome Mr. Tushar Pandey and Mr. Raj Gopal Shivkumar, Dr. Anand Singh. So we would like to hear from all of you today, and yes, we are definitely looking forward to some solutions and conclusions today. Mostly we would be like to touch upon the current logistic scenarios and what are the doable solutions and the influence of the FPOs, marketing agencies, producers, existing cold storage units, logistic providers and research institutes of this sector. Warehousing and local solutions at the farm level, like how well it can be managed. Capacity building initiatives definitely for the role of the entrepreneurs. Interventions are talked about. New technology that is being needed, like small machinery needed. So we would look forward for your ideas and some case studies and success stories on this. And post-harvest storage and logistic ideas of the farm living. And if we can touch upon, like during this pandemic situation, how things can be managed further for this. And organic farming and its commercialization ideas and its logistic requirements. So these are all the things that we would like to touch upon today and come out with some robust plan or something which we can offer for this for our stakeholders to think forward. So I would call upon Mr. Ranjan Singh again He has shared his views, but you can just start the tone of this panel discussion today. So, Ranjan Sen, Mr. Ranjan Sen, it's over to you now.
Thank you, Ranjita ji. As the Honorable Minister has already discussed in detail, given us the points of how we can proceed with all the discussion to come to a conclusion which will help the state of Arunachal Pradesh to address the challenges that they are already facing. On the perspective of that, I would rather say that there are several convergence programs which has been initiated by the Government of India on the organic sector itself, which will address some major issues that Arunachal is already facing. To start with, the MOBCD NER project has been merged, has been actually, it's been merged with the PKVY, Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. And overall, this project has been further provided, the scope has been increased with the National Rural Livelihood Mission, MIDH, Mission Integrated Development of Horticulture, and also the Department of Forest. The Honorable Minister has specifically said about the medicinal and aromatic plants, the challenges that the opportunities therein, palm oil, the other very valuable resources within the state, and how we can actually harness those potentiality using technology as well. Now, going back that, this particular scope, what the National Rural Livelihood Mission, MIDH, is already providing this opportunity is also for technology adaptations in these areas other than certifications and all. So if we can merge all these things together to provide a collective effort, collective projects, which under either the Department of Agriculture, under his ministry, we can implement, or converge it with other ministry like Ministry of Forest. You have the Panchayat and Rural Development within the state, as well as the horticulture, which is himself, the Honorable Minister is himself holding the post, the chair for that. So if under him, this particular scopes can be addressed in under like large area certification scopes, which under MOVCDA, where the logistics hubs and the district strategic location of pack houses and other value-added products can be centered around, considering the ODO, one district, one product, one district, one product concept. All these things can be merged together under a single, under the Honorable Minister's leadership itself. And we can, on behalf of the team being represented through ASSOCHAM, can come across with many valuable solutions within the scope of the project that already this project has been sanctioned to the the fund has been provided to the state. The basic idea is to merge and or converge multiple funds or multiple sales and multiple ministry into one single project, provide it the direction and how we can use those the more advanced technologies which is coming, like satellite based mapping, your groundwater, your where the product where any of the off-season vegetables can be produced. Many things can be addressed using technology like shelf life. When the you can increase the analytical support without creating laboratory at high cost laboratory at various locations. The analytical support, this testing kit like what we have for the COVID test, there are rapid antigen test kits are there. Similarly, we can have rapid, very strategic location, small laboratories using kits which can be made available to very far off districts or places within the Arunachal Pradesh state itself. And this can be connected to through the satellite. So we have access, we have both this technology providers, we have access to the technologies, we have access to the solutions. It's only how we can put this across to a scheme or as a proposal to the government, and the government can do those things. So I think so what the Honorable Minister actually has given us direction is to how various schemes and other projects and technologies found in the private sectors are there, how we can actually merge those ideas, available solutions and funds with the government together to come up with a more realistic, pragmatic solution for the Arunachal government to implement. With this, I want to conclude, and thank you, Ranjita ji, again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sen. Yeah. So that was a very good insight that you put forward. I would now like to request Mr. Manu Chaudhary to share his inputs. Before this, Mr. Chaudhary shares it through his profile. Mr. Chaudhary is a serial entrepreneur from logistic to organic farming. He conceptualized a viable business idea on organic farming and worked with small marginal farmers in India for this sustainable livelihood. He is the founder and managing director of Prakriti Organics Farm, Fresh Limited, and humble beginning to give our society naturally grown food. So his insights or his ideas would actually add a lot for this section today. So over to you, Mr. Chaudhary.
Ranjita, I'll slightly come in between and interfere. Mr. Chaudhary is having some technical issues, so he's unable to join us, but he has communicated his point, which is basically trying to work extensively with the FPO. So he is in agreement with the thoughts which NABARD has presented, and the Honorable Minister also indicated that collective strength is the key to the success of a mission. So his point is that FPOs need to be empowered more and more. I think we can move on with the other eminent speakers for their thoughts. And if I may also, sorry, if I may also take this opportunity to, Mr. Chaudhary has just joined. Great, good to see him. So we can give the command to him. May I also introduce, we are privileged from Manaj, Mr. Pinakshar Mahanta has joined in. So he would also be there part of the conversation. So good to see Mr. Chaudhary here. Over to you, Manuji.
Thank you, Paraminder ma'am, and thank you, madam. It is second time we have joined in this same seminar and the same issue related to the agro sector and the logistic sector. As well informed by Paraminder madam related to the FPO, yes, I'm being working as a CBBO for NABARD, NCDC and SFAC. And with that experience, along with the service provider of Ministry of Agriculture, with these experience, I just wanted to give an input related to the logistics sector and how the agro sector can increase. Logistic itself does not include only transportation. It includes the entire infrastructure. The ecosystem of the agro need to be imbibed into the state in Arunachal Pradesh, where for which we are talking about, which is basically a landlocked country and northeast hub and spoke model, which I wanted to speak here. Because any sector which need to be developed, we need to have a hub. The agro sector, the farm gate hub is very much required, well equipped with the infrastructure, post-harvest infrastructure particularly, so that the volume can be generated at the farm level, and then other infrastructure can be developed simultaneously. So we have digital ecosystems which can take place, which can give us a real-time information about the produce which has been grown there, what is the quantity of the produce, and we can integrate farmer through this digital ecosystem. Because in this pandemic, I can understand, and we have seen also in many of the places, a small state like Arunachal Pradesh can be benefited with the integration of these ecosystems. Yes, the government of India has came with a project called FPO, where we have a target of 10,000 FPO need to be prepared, and Arunachal Pradesh can be benefited with this FPO systems. And in this FPO system, there are many other schemes which can be integrated, whether it is credit schemes and all, which will help to promote the farming and as well as quality farming and the quantity farming. So, and Arunachal Pradesh has a border, also international border, from where we can target the Southeast Asia. So this is what I just wanted to keep my submission. I just heard earlier also Mr. Bhattacharya, who is there at the panel, and his suggestions. I would like to hear more about this Arunachal Pradesh, what he wants to suggest. And thank you very much. Since I was having some issues, so I joined little late, unable to hear others panelists, rather speaking more on my side. Thank you, ASSOCHAM, to give me this opportunity. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chaudhary. So we would like to move on to Subhash Bhattacharya, sir. We all know about him, and still I would like to just we have got a very good audience participation today for this program. So we welcome everybody on board today. And so I was taking you through Dr. Subhash Bhattacharya. He was the former managing director of Derimac Limited and Ministry of Donor, Government of India. And he is having a rich 39 years of experience in different capacities, widely known as a strong business development professional. He's been a keen strategist and pioneer with skills of conceptualizing and effective process initiatives to enhance efficiency and productivity in the agribusiness. In recognition to his demonstrated abilities to enhance production operations, optimize resource and capacity utilization, to escalate productivity and operational efficiency in related central public sector enterprises. He was instrumental in getting the GI tag of as many as 13 agro-horti producers from the northeastern states among the 18 GI registered products so far from this region. So over to you, sir. We are looking forward to hear more about this state and how we can build on new initiatives.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Parvinder ji, inducting me in this discussion. And I think I should, in the very beginning, I should tell that today our honorable minister has given us an eye-opener, because in different platforms we speak, but then we generally just forward the decisions or the approaches made by in pan-India sector and push it or inject on Northeast. And sir has today openly deliberated and told that situations are different. And taking a cue on his point of view, I also advocate the same feeling with my experience of more than 20 years in the Northeast. And friends, before we speak on this platform, let me share with you. Immediately after my MTech, I was with Amul chocolate plant as a shift supervisor, and then I joined Arunachal government within 7 months of my MTech as Arunachal cadre officer in 1982. I happened to work there for 5 long years. Initially 2 years, those days in Naharlagan, Itanagar. Subsequently in Alo, there is a place called Alo nowadays. That time it was told Along. And those days we have set up a 5-ton per day pineapple processing plant. Incidentally, today in the ODOP program of Government of India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, again in the West Siang, pineapple has been identified as the one district, one product program. So keeping that in mind, just I want to share over you, and probably what Mr. Munna Chaudhary was talking, of late we also had a discussion on the Manipur issues. So friends, a lot of things becomes common in case of northeastern hill states. And I will say that more specifically to the content of Arunachal Pradesh, we need to consolidate an ecosystem architecture through an innovation platform. Probably the Honorable Minister has given a hint on that also. We should go for an innovation platform that will enable a mission-driven approach, particularly for agri-tech innovators and entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, I mean agro-horti entrepreneurs, and also the entrepreneurs who are trying to take the local products and take it forward. And I wish to suggest here that every stakeholders along the value chain can provide impetus to the village economy, because our productions are in pockets. Because we do not have huge areas of land, our production and productivity are comparatively less than the agrarian states like Punjab, Maharashtra, or whatever it is we talk. So that way, basically the platform has to provide a level playing field. How do we do that? For innovation-based social enterprises, by reducing the information asymmetry. I think many of you will agree on that. Particularly for the hill states, this is a must. And friends, to specifically share with you that in the Northeast, our farmers are having small land holdings. Smallholder farmers, despite taking enormous effort, they do not get real returns. When they do not get returns, what we should do is that we should support them by some sort of logistic ways. We are talking on the logistic issue, so we should look after the post-harvest logistics, supply chain, and it cannot happen just like that by doing post-harvest. It has to start from the very beginning, from the pre-sowing cultivation part. And if we can really give them a handhold on those sectors, starting from the pre-sowing cultivation, then come to the post-harvest logistics, supply chain and market linkage. Many of you must be knowing earlier, whatever we are talking nowadays under MOFP scheme of primary processing, that was not there initially in 10-15 years back. We had to threshold many a time to the Ministry of Food Processing Industries and say that for the northeastern states, primary processing is our main goal. Ultimately, with a lot of trust and all that, when Madam came just before that, we got the primary processing part under Ministry of Food Processing Industries, and the support problem has also been started generating. So considering those factors, I want to again highlight in the initial stage that agriculture is not an easy sector. All of us know, and in hill states like Northeast, many of the hill states are finding it very difficult to grow. They are giving their best. While initial stages, it seemed very easy to sell some of the consignments and all that. But that is not at all. We have to go for exotic products with benchmark of organic. Already Honorable Minister has told about organic certification. That is a very big issue. We have to ensure that our farmers who are growing naturally organic products need to be given a certification tag, number one. Of course, Madam Ghosh has just now told about that we have done the GI for the Northeast of many farmers, like Arunachal also. Arunachal Orange has got a GI tag. So like that, many of the GI tags were done by NARMAC, where I was working earlier. But then what we should ensure that those GI tags, whatever has been made, should be put into action. We had some discussions with APEDA, Chairman APEDA sir, he is from Assam cadre only. We had big discussions, and sir has taken a very strong motive to see that the farmers of the Northeast who are having the tag of GI should get the export benefit, and he's trying to give a big voyage on that. It is a very welcome event. That by that process probably our farmers will be strongly benefited. Then I have 2-3 points just to share here, that just like that, if we think of any other states, we should not be satisfied to help our farmers. We should see the product development. Product development how? We should not just like that make any sort of product, because product development is also a formidable challenge. It is not like that you make emerging access to, because whatever you produce, we do not have the quality control laboratories to fill. Mr. Ranjan Sen has just not told, like whatever we have the COVID test and all that, we should come up with some sort of mobile situations. Fine, that is okay. But I feel in the hilly terrain, sometimes it's very difficult. So product we should develop. ODOP program has started on the Atmanirbhar Bharat. In 24 districts or 25 districts now, Honorable Minister has told one more district has been added. So they have already identified number of crops for every district. That has to be taken forward in a very strong way. And I believe, and probably all of you will believe, that though the government of India has got number of schemes for development of FPOs, FPCs and all that, under CBBO schemes also FPO, FPCs are coming. But ultimately what happens, NABARD sir, Mr. Mishra sir is here. NABARD have done a study in 2019-20 where they have told that the FPO, FPCs in the long list is happening. And now, of course, we are already having SFSC and NABARD doing that. Now CBBO under CBBO project. Again, NABARD is doing some work, NARMAC, everybody is doing, NAFED is also doing FPCs or FPOs. But then ultimately the problem lies in different way. So the assessment comes from the huge efforts, whatever have been made, that they say that the FPOs are really unable to do the same solution what they are supposed to do in the difficult terrains, because most of this mandated work are having some challenges and end-to-end business becomes difficult for them. In Manipur also I tried to share on a particular issue that probably if we really have to help The individual FPCs cannot afford to commit all the overheads of the full-fledged business operation. They should try, or the government, Honorable Minister, is so much aware of the situations. Probably, sir, with your little blessings, what you can think of an apex body who takes up basically the problem of marketing. And also whatever you told about, sir, the cold storage, warehousing and all that, that should not be loaded on the FPO's work. Because FPOs are unable to really do the entire dynamics of the work. And nowadays what happened with the mushroom of FPOs are coming, they are unable to really catch hold of the things in a very proper way. This is my personal way of understanding. There may be a debate of discussions, but what I feel that there should be some sort of a group apex body which should come up, and they should vertically work on 3-4 models. Models in the sense that objectively they should think of the farm produce aggregation and marketing, and then also go for the value-added upstream opportunities for some exact product on the total line of value chain. So Honorable Minister has tried to highlight 2, 3, 4 activities, and all of you in the platform today, you know about our Tage Rita ma'am, how kiwi wine she has developed, and it is a phenomena in the country. And now she has also added some of the products like peach wine and plum wines and all that. So kudos to her to take this situation in a very, very good way. But we should also try to do, we have a lot of very good products in the state. We should take it in a very good way to marketing. But one interesting thing I want to add on here, if all of you agree, the agricultural inputs, like Sir has told, Honorable Minister Sir has told about the biofertilizers and all that. And those inputs, we should, that apex body which I'm telling to support the marketing infrastructure and also go for the marketing, should also try to collate the requirements of the agriculture inputs and give the extension services. This is a production vertical wise, it is a very important phenomena for the hill states, because our small pocket farmers unable to really make a network and see that the competitive situation doesn't come. Then comes the other secretariat, the other supporting work. The supporting works can really take it off in a very big way once we try to set up the facilities. Usually the general methods what we, madam, if you give me 1 or 2 minutes, the general methods what we adopt in this is that we should try to build, operate, train, and also take it forward in a BOTT method, what we say, build, operate, train, and then transfer. So initially 2-3 years that apex body can really make a handhold, run the show, and then slowly they transfer the responsibility to the FPOs, FPCs generated body, and then they take it forward, because they need a very good, strong handhold on a business acumen. Otherwise, simply identifying 5 to 10 board of directors and telling them you want the CEO, you carry forward, give them a training for 15 days or 10 days, really doesn't mean a business. And our people are very, very simple in this part of the country. They need to be given a business acumen, because most of them are first generation entrepreneurs in this particular sector. So with these few sentences in the beginning, I want to say that farm produce marketing, then coming to the verticals of supporting the farmers with the wholesale market development, and maybe warehousing part, we can put it in a 2-3 ways. Development of some storage and making the deferred sale, because sometimes, whenever you produce, you sell, we don't get a very good welcome price. So make it deferred sale. That idea is not there, because we do not have a very good market around. Our farmers are not finding a very good market to sell the produces. So what we should do is that develop some storage, like the Honorable Minister was talking, depending on the product line, you should think of a cold storage or a warehouse in the district headquarter level, so that they have a network, and the farmers or the companies should be given a deferred sale ability to give them more revenues. Coming to the post-harvest facilities program, I have 2 points to just share here, because in the Northeast, ODOP program has come in almost every state, and they have already enlisted the product line for every district. For Arunachal Pradesh, also 24 districts they have identified. So those products will really come up in a good way. We are very hopeful, but then they need to be giving a skill support. Today, Mr. Sivram is there. I know him. Otherwise, in some of the programs, I have met him. So even FIXI has started giving some sort of training programs under the support scheme of FIXI, the skill initiative on the food processing. They can also be involved. The CEO, the FIXI can be involved. He is keen to come to Northeast and work in tandem with any developing sectors. so that each of those people who are working on the ODOP program can get a skill initiative in their own way of action. Number two is that to have a good prospect of marketing, probably we should think of dehydration technology to take in the Northeast and particularly for Arunachal Pradesh. Dehydration technology, there are different ways of dehydration. I'll not discuss everything on technological front here, but then I feel that dehydration can give a very big support for our all producers. Now, large cardamom has come in a very big way in Arunachal Pradesh. Also, they are doing oranges, they are doing pineapple, they are doing turmeric, they are doing ginger. So dehydration has a technology if you can adopt. And I am also referring to some dehydration technology coming from Australian technology has been coming to Northeast. Nectar, there is the Government of India organization. They are going to set up a facility on technology development program in Guwahati in Khanapara area of the university campus. And that support will be really good for the hill states. I wish I'll also talk to our Honorable Minister separately on this particular forum, not to be discussed, that dehydration technology can be one of the boon for our Arunachal Pradesh. So keeping that in mind, one or two things is that ODOP is there, dehydration technology is there. And last pandemic, with my little experience in the Northeast, I have just made a document. How do we take the food processing in a very big prospective way in the Northeast? And that was also by the member of our Niti Aayog has inaugurated in last February to 2020. That document will be very good for the entrepreneur friends who want to work on the agri-horticulture, basically processing. So probably those things can be shared and we'll be able to really guide. In case you will have further interaction, at the first go, I think I should stop on this so the others can also share their views. Thank you, madam, for giving me this opportunity again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bhattacharjee. Very informative insights. You've spoken about the product development, product marketing, and mainly you've also put forth about the dehydration technology that should be adopted. So there are so many other points apart from the things that you have just put forth. We would like to just have more questions from our audience. And taking forward this discussion, I would like to call upon our next speaker, Mr. Tushar Pandey. He is an advisor, agriculture, finance, and agribusiness from Grant Thornton, India. Mr. Pandey currently is the advisor, as well as he's the advisor financial services and policy at DHeart. He is also an independent consultant and an advisor on PB, social equity, and related sectors, including agriculture, rural development, and tourism. He is also a mentor under Startup India programs on agriculture with Indian Agriculture Research Institute and IndiGram Labs. He's also CSR partner consultant to Australia India Council funded project in agriculture, Krishi Group. So we would like to hear from you your insights, as well as also about the private sector participation. So over to you, Mr. Pandey.
Thank you, Ranjita. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. And in the context of what has been spoken, I think the Honorable Minister's speech was extremely focused and enlightening. And in a way, I was feeling gratified that my presentation was carrying some aspects of what he said. So, it gave a motivation to go forward. Also, what has been spoken by other panelists, all makes sense. And I have a small presentation which I would like to bring forward. But before I do that, I just like to start with a little perspective which I always share at such forums. When we talk of scaling and business, I say with all sincerity, because I am still not a businessman, that business is only understood by doing it. But business is not understood by putting some theories and saying that. So having said that, I think the buzzword is that if you are having business people at your doorstep, which means business is happening. If you are not having, then there is something wrong. So what that wrong, what is there? And I think for years we have seen Northeast being one of the places which was discussed in a negative stream, but there are very, very strong positives which have happened. So without going to details, let me share my presentation first to bring some of the perspectives and some pointers to the solutions which all of us have been speaking about. Can we put on a share mode so that I can
shared, sir.
Yeah. So second. Is my presentation visible?
No, sir, not yet.
Not yet, sir.
Okay, is it visible now? Yeah. Okay. So first of all, my formal thanks to ASSOCHAM. Presentation is not visible?
No, sir, it's not visible.
Kindly
yet.
share it.
Not yet visible, sir.
I'm not getting the share link. Can somebody help me? I'm not getting the share link.
Just a minute, sir. Just a minute. Yes, sir. Now you can check once. Just right to the start video.
Yes.
Just
one second.
yes, sir. No.
There is some problem. I'm not able to. I'm getting a blank mode in the share part of it. So just one second. Let me see. Okay, maybe I can just speak up separately, and most points are visible from there. So I'll just go ahead, by speaking the points.
Yes, sir, you can just,
The first point is that
you can also share your slides with us later on.
yeah, I'll send you the presentation later on so that
Yes. That would
but
be
let me
fine.
quickly complete the presentation. So that will be I'll come to the issues and solutions in the form of a macro manner. The first is that we know that, and some of the points, just pardon me for being a little bit repetitive, but I think in the context, the point has to be mentioned. The first point is that Arunachal is the state with the least rural population density in India. The point was very well expanded by the Honorable Minister, and therefore the point is that when you have a very less rural population, unlike many other places, it is actually a good potential for technology-based interventions. And when he mentioned about having extra hands and all that, so the tech-based interventions have to be seen with the perspective of the technology as well as taking technology to the ground. It is not mean to say that we are only talking of internet and all those things. So horticulture produce is the first area. Technology for moving and growing horticulture produce, technology for storage, warehousing, and transportation, including the cold chain. Need for bringing in more technical workforce. Now, this is important because you need to have a basic minimum technical workforce, which you see a lot of migration happening from all over the country to tech hubs of India. So we know that you need some professional manpower. Needless to say that your own manpower can also take up technology upliftment themselves. AgTech and FinTech growth in many parts of the country, which has been a very big movement in the last particularly 3 or 4 years. So these companies are gaining momentum. Cooling as a service, these kind of players have started providing services, and therefore it makes logical sense for the businesses to cooperate with them and bring the cost of operations down depending upon what business the company is in. Very important, we are getting strong tailwinds in respect of the larger infrastructure which has been development, roads, airports, helistrips, and we have also seen that across the country we are finding that after the changing of all these farming laws and all that, the state marketing boards on franchisee basis, because state marketing boards themselves are getting competitive, and also these AgTech companies are forming complementary businesses for them. We heard Honorable Minister mention about National Highway Development Program getting penetration in the state, the district to district coverage is happening. So naturally what is happening is it is acting as an enabler for business to happen. So this is a good time to capitalize on the tailwinds. FPOs, they have been discussed, from the business point of view, there are not still very good examples in respect of commercial successful FPOs. But what the good news is, as I have been seeing, I have been working in this area, particularly with Dehat, but with also some other AgTech companies, that FPO can be an enabler as a business partner to AgTech and FinTech companies. When AgTech and FinTech companies want to expand their needs to scale of business, they want to form farmer agglomerations, and those agglomerations acts as a business hub for these companies. So it is different than calling about, setting up an FPO because there is a government policy, you set up an FPO. So this is a major difference in respect of the success points for FPO. So we have still seen about, very few FPOs which have been a commercial success and they have been able to raise, but those who have been, I think, very strong synergies coming out with the AgTech and the FinTech companies. And I think that is something we should target bringing to Arunachal. All the subsidy, and I think so many programs were mentioned by Honorable Minister. He mentioned about at least, Government of India schemes and all that. But my point is that I think try to see the summit, all these, and use it for creating awareness and business training. You bring in business people, use that money so that those people's costs are offset and they come and train your people. Just do it as a summation points. All your schemes should be directed towards creating awareness for the state as well as business training for your people. Rest of the things will be taken care by business itself. If we try to think too much and pretend that we are business people, I think we continue to make mistakes. And this is where I think the success or non-success of the government programs, and it is particularly relevant for the Northeast. I certainly don't pretend that I am a businessman, because till I do business, I cannot say that I am a businessman. So I think that is very important. If you have business people, they will come back and bring their problems and they will try to bring out solutions. So please use your subsidy in a slightly different manner going forward. Now, what kind of tech-based interventions they are picking up in India? As I'm telling you, a lot of investments in equity is coming up. They are getting into expansion mode. They are becoming a good part of agri value chain. See, the point is that if a larger agri corporate who's in agri business is not coming to your state, because it is a very simple point that there is no business in your state. Now, when they find a partner which can be effective on the last mile at a better costing levels, they will naturally come and tie up with them. So this is also what is happening. Bigger companies are tying up with AgTech companies, and they are getting penetration at the last mile level at a very, very efficient costing level. So they are becoming a part of agri value chain. What are these companies? These companies extend from sectors such as ag biotechs and biomaterials. I can start naming these companies: string bio, tropical animations, agriculture finance and agtechs, supply chain technologies. There are companies like Samunati, Jai Kisan, Big Art, precision agtech and ag automation. And agri is mostly net export of high value horticulture produce for Arunachal Pradesh. And I think that's the key word. When you say high value, it has to realize the value, but it is also meaning that there is a business potential in doing it. So you can evacuate. Simple point is, I did a little bit study as a part of my research a few years back on apples. Only about less than 2% of apple productions of India happens in Arunachal Pradesh. But the fact is, it's a very, very commonsensical thing. And I think all of you would agree with me that you have apples coming from Washington and being sold in urban centers alongside Himachal apples and Kashmir apples and to some extent Uttarakhand apples now. So it is a natural corollary that the cost can be offset because the valuation of that fruit has become very high. So even if you don't have immediate infrastructure and use high cost solutions, air evacuation and all that stuff, there is a business viability. So if you set up the chain, the supply chain and the value chain, it will happen. So therefore, as already mentioned, this can be a very good enabler, and we do know a lot of case studies on specific products which are being there. There is a need for inflow of professional manpower for upgrading the local skill set. So therefore, I mentioned use your subsidy in that way. Bring in business training people and train in the business manner. But again, the caution is that there's a time element. Anybody in serious business, you will have to see a potential of coming to the state. So you need to bring those value chain players who have been running successful commercial entities themselves. And I think I must mention, I worked a little bit with the Australian government, and I think dehydration technology point was mentioned. But the fact is, Australian government is actually running very good programs, or they are a part of very good programs. And one of the programs I can mention is that it is happening on the organic seed production. It is currently happening in the cotton seed, but the fact is that for many of the crops, you bring out the organic production aspects. So Arunachal can actually become the organic seed hub of India, and I have mentioned these points elsewhere. So the fact is that in general the hybrid seeds and the GT seeds, BT seeds have caused a variety of problems in other places, and also because of environmental considerations, Honorable Minister mentioned, this actually makes a sense. So can you do it in an organic manner? You can bring out. Then the project which I was a part of as evaluator in the cotton, the biggest problem the cotton farmers were saying that we do not have the seed supply. So producing seed has lesser environmental impact than growing for the crop, because you cannot start growing these crops in Arunachal Pradesh, but you can certainly evaluate and see that whether some kind of it can become a seed hub for organic seeds, which is in short supply, and this can be done for multiple crops. As I mentioned, the plantation-based and other interventions, which are extremely important, and value chain aggregators, apple, kiwi, many other fruits, and many of you know it better than me, what is the good potential for Arunachal and what valuations can be obtained. Market price at consumption centers within India actually makes a very strong case for medium-term viability. We have seen that, we are flamboyantly saying that, oh, this was exported to Dubai and this was sent to here and there. But the fact is that there are cases, if you have been sent to Bangalore or if you have been sent to Delhi or other places, Mumbai, you are getting very good valuations, and you can start running good businesses. Kino is now being sent from northern states like Himachal right up to Bangalore, and via reefer trucks and all that. So I'll I mentioned in the next point is that I mentioned earlier, organic seed factory for India and Southeast Asia. A lot of demand for those, some of the specific fruits and products may not be in India, but in the larger part of Southeast Asia. So, you can provide quality seeds supply to all these places. Cold chain warehousing and logistics in hub and spoke model, something like Himachal, for example, if you look at Adani for large scale interventions, Kothkai, which is a very big district in area, is now becoming a medium scale intervention, and a lot of supplies come into urban centers via some of these companies like Big Basket, Milk Basket, etc. And they are branded like that. And I think what is good is happening is that it's a direct supply coming. The customer is paying good price, but being assured that good valuations is he's getting good quality, and the farmers are getting good valuations through this system. Uttarakhand, one of the projects which have been fairly enthused about because it actually covers a lot of social based interventions, which is to social earn-out model, which is Anamrit model for apples. So it is, most of the procurement happens in Uttarakhand, and there are a few villages of Himachal which is runs. So this can be, studied in detail, and they are doing rapid expansions across other places. These people have now gone into Maharashtra and started doing for some fruits. So there is a reverse integration which is happening. Bihar, for example, is a Patna-based, Bihar-based organization which is now expanding to other states. So a lot of and these tech-based new generation entrepreneurs, out of the box thinking, but also being aware of the commercial viability and the raw ground like Arunachal, in the sense of sometimes you find that there's a blessing in disguise. There is less of thing, already thing is organic, so your valuations are kind of there. You don't have a problem of first detoxing your place and then going right. So there can be a blessing in disguise for Arunachal, which can be taken forward. Financial intermediary credit products, I work in this area, so there are new specific products for horticulture. There's an Asian Development Bank sponsored magnet project in Maharashtra. So some of the cues can be taken of how this is being implemented. Of course, it may be early for a state like Arunachal, but it can come up in a stepped manner. One of the compatible product of NABARD, which is being administered, can be done like this and taken forward for horticulture for Arunachal and some other northeastern states. Good part is that it involves banks, NBFCs, and the new generation fintech and agtech companies. So the cost of financial operations is also going down with these efforts, and certainly it makes a sense to attract these players into Arunachal. So next few slides I had, which you can see later, with more on the theory part of it, in the sense of what is the role of IT in respect of the value chain and all that, and mobile technology, payment technology. Of course, these are so. My final point is that. Social inclusion and valuations, the FPOs, cooperatives, and SHGs form a key component, but they should form a part of the business value chain and attach to those organizations. Therefore, the chances for success. So if we do that right from the beginning in a state like Arunachal Pradesh, that will be really excellent. So some of the other speakers spoke about specifics. I think they can be incorporated as a business model for this. So we should bring out a strategy to bring, these people into the state. And many of these people are in the industry today. They are commercially oriented. And if not at all, if you bring in them to the state, they may give you a step-up solution that if they can't come in today, but they can come in tomorrow, provided you do this today. So it is important for us to understand what we should do today so that tomorrow they are there in our state. So thanks, ASSOCHAM. I'll stop here. I'll share my presentation separately, which can be put up on the system. And I think we are on the cusp of a very important initiative, strong tailwinds on the larger scale infrastructure which has happened. And I'll be happy to be a part of any such effort depending upon the need for it. Thank you so much, and we can look forward to some other panel discussions and questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pandey. Very valid points put forth, and we really think that a very high value business and Arunachal Pradesh is something that that should come up in a big way. There is so much of potential. Sir, we might have a lot of questions from our attendees, so please stay there. We would move forward to our speaker. Mr. Pinakeshwar Mahanta. Professor Pinakeshwar Mahanta is a professor of IIT Guwahati since the year 2001. He has served in various positions such as Head Center for Energy, HOD Mechanical Engineering, then Dean of Faculty Affairs at IIT Guwahati. He established IIT Bhagalpur as Director in Charge during the year 2017 to 18. Presently, he is on deputation to NIT Arunachal Pradesh as director since 14 September 2018. Professor Mahanta has contributed in research in the area of thermodynamics, heat transfer, and renewable energy. He has published more than 180 papers in some reputed journals. Sir, we would like to hear from you. Also, like while talking to your team members, so we would like to hear about the herbal products that have been developed from this state. Sir, over to you now.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I would like to thank all of the dignitaries involved here, particularly Parmina Madam and as well as Ranjita Madam, along with our Honorable Minister. I am actually the director of the NIT Arunachal Pradesh for last 3 years. So I am a native of Assam. So I know about Northeast region to some extent. So based on that, we have started operating on some of the important aspects regarding agriculture, horticulture, floriculture, whatever may be upgraded or value added in the Northeast region, particularly Arunachal. So we got a project from Northeast Center for Technology Application and Reach, that is called Nectar, last year. So this also we disseminated some of the technologies. So as regarding to Arunachal Pradesh, it is having very huge area as high as 8.37 million hectares. Out of that, hardly 2.2 hectare area is arable. Remaining areas are not arable, mostly covered with forests. But 30% of GDP of the state is coming from agro-horticulture. Now, based on these things, I'd like to mention a few of the points here and what we are doing from NIT to help in growing the agriculture are given here. The bioresource of Arunachal Pradesh, as you can see here, is mainly bamboo, that is 51% species in all over India. In India, the total number of species of bamboo is 125. So almost 50% or 40% of the species of India is available, bamboo species is available in Arunachal Pradesh. And this contains 40% of the vegetative cover in the state. Next, some of the important food products are like growing of banana. The next is a lot of aromatic and medicinal plants, which are actually not available in the rest of the countries. Many of them are not available in the rest of the countries. And interestingly, most of them are naturally available. Cultivation has not been adopted by major people. Then different type of tubers like sweet potato, disocoria, this kind of tubers are available. Then in case of fruits, already many panelists have already discussed pineapple, orange, kiwi, all these type of fruits are available. Kiwi is the fruit which is seasonal, orange is also seasonal, pineapple is also seasonal. Well, so we have to think of how to market this type of fruit by some means. These are some of the pictures as you can see here. These are collected, taken from these different parts location of Arunachal Pradesh. Apart from this, we have a huge resource of orchids. The 91 varieties of orchids in the country are in Arunachal Pradesh. These orchids have got very high value, but they are endangered in species. It can go for a good marketing. So my interest from the academic and research point of view from NIT Arunachal Pradesh is something different. It is for capacity building for technology intervention and to promote entrepreneurship development in this area. Like one of the areas, road and transportation. I am not going to speak about this because this is the topic of the state as well as central government. Next is process industry, where a lot of technological intervention is needed. Another is packaging industry. Then storage, already many panelists have already discussed about cold storage, warehouse. Lastly, value addition, marketing, including e-marketing. These are some of the interventions of technology which requires immediate attention for upliftment of the agriculture in Arunachal Pradesh. As a role of NIT Arunachal Pradesh, I can just give you a glimpse here. We have 7 academic departments like mechanical, civil, chemical, electronics, electrical engineering, biotechnology, and computer science. All these departmental faculty members are now, for last 2 years, are rendering their services for extensive training to different level of will-be entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs, like awareness program, technical sessions, hands-on training. Then we are also in other phase, we are providing technology like drying of different type of crops, products, storage, and value addition to the product, comprehensive instruction to the instruments that is to be used. So these all comprises nothing but capacity building amongst the farmers and entrepreneurs. The second important part that is perhaps will be a vital part in near future, which is growing, is innovation and startups. So we have a startup cell through which we are doing innovation, and also we are going for giving different type of innovative products and entrepreneurship development. Finally, only technology will not help. If somebody want to be entrepreneur, a business model have to be formulated, which is because of which there is a lot of failure in many businesses. So formulation of business model, our humanities and management cell is there, they can help. So these are some of the aspects NIT Arunachal Pradesh is working. It is a kind of research as well as outreach activities. Now, coming to value addition to resources, as Madam has rightly pointed out, we have started working on making tablets and syrup from various medicinal plants and molecular extractions through our biotechnology department. And this, many of the strategies has been taken for this type of developments by our faculty members and our research scholars. You can see here how some of the syrups, oils are extracted from amada or ginger. And there are some many other plants from which also you can make oils. If you sell this ginger in market, the kg will be 30 to 40 rupees. But if you find out ginger oil out of it, its cost is 150 rupees to 200 rupees. So that is the value addition. So if you can sell it or export it, it will be the huge market for the farmers. Then oil for zinc, even from mango also you can get oil. We are trying for that. Then another important thing which is existing in rest of the country is the banana chips making, because banana is a perishable food crop. After started ripening, after 3-4 days the banana get wasted actually. So if you take the raw banana and go for chips making, it will give you better value than selling banana in raw ripe banana in a market. So this is one of the aspects also we are considering. Then, as one of the speaker has already mentioned, that kiwi alcohol is available in 2 places like Bhalukpung and Zero. 2 factories have come up as entrepreneurship development. We are not emphasizing on making alcohol from kiwi. Rather, we are giving emphasis to making health drink, which is having less than 8% alcohol. So if we take kiwi as health drink, or a pong as health drink, or jackfruit extract for health drink, this may be packaged properly, it can be stored properly so that it can go to all India market, even to abroad. So this part also we are taking care of through our biotechnology and mechanical engineering department. Then chocolate making from kiwi, this is also a new product. That also we have started off. Then while I talked about bamboo, there is a cane and bamboo center run by a group of women near to our permanent campus at Zote. It is called Cane and Bamboo Center Puma. They were actually assisted with lot of machineries for developing different type of cane and bamboo products. Unfortunately, these machines were not working. So we gave them free service. And our technicians, they corrected all the more than 9 machines. Now they are having a lot of products, as you can see from here, from bamboo. And fortunately, these products are sold or exported to Bhutan, Myanmar, and countries like Sri Lanka, not only in India. So this is an example. We can help in growing bamboo-based product industry through NIT Arunachal Pradesh. So this type of technology intervention becomes very, very essential because we have more than 80% of bamboo covering our Arunachal Pradesh. I will also like to give here some magnificent pictures of some important medicinal plants, which are, most of them are not explored, or most of them are growing in wild. Like one of the plant is Artemisia species, then Texas bacula, another is Paris polyphylla. These, many of you will be knowing, this is Panax, this is also known as ginseng. So in Arunachal Pradesh, we have Korean ginseng that can be grown. Already we have 2 pockets. One pocket is near Zero, one pocket is near Tawang. So we are trying to develop it so that ginseng tablets and ginseng powders can be sold in the market. It has got very high value. So this can be one good business model. Then there are some other medicinal plants through which some of the nutritious tablets can be made. These are some of the plants. Then you can see this is also some continuation, some Panatuga, Cinnamonum, Tamata, Xanthomax. These are all medicinal plants. This is, this is called Dhakia, and this is edible. We make curry and we take it, but it has got a lot of antifungal properties. This can be actually dried, crushed, and it can be made capsules and sold in the market. Apart from these things, this rhododendron, it is a squash and juice making. It can be made from this, and it is a very lofty mountain crop. It can be a value addition for making this type of product. There's some traditional spice and anti-malaria drugs are also available like Chirota and Illicita. So these can be also extracted and product molecular level. If you make this product, it can sold in pharmaceutical companies. Apart from this, the dye what we use in clothes are chemical in nature. If you go for bio-based dye, that will be comfortable for each and everybody. So in Arunachal Pradesh, we have barberries. These are all barberries plants. These are the fruits from which you can make dye. Then apart from that, we have some other trees like pipali and majathi, the work of which is to making handmade paper. So this can be a good industry. So this way, these are different type of aromatic and medicinal plants can be actually cultivated with the help of agronomic practices from Department of Agriculture and Horticulture of Arunachal Pradesh. And value addition to this can be in a form of capsule making or tablet making and selling to market directly. I would like to also indicate here some problems associated with some crops like cardamom. Cardamom drying, this is the traditional drying. In the video you can see, this is a big video from the village 0, where people go for traditional drying of these fresh cardamom capsules with the help of wood. So tons of woods are actually used for 7 to 8 days, which is not only detrimental to environment. Apart from that, this fire, when make it to occur, this smoke you can see, this is nothing but ash and smoke coming from this wood. So it actually contaminates this particular final product of cardamom. So we avoided it, and from our NIT, we have developed a dryer. It is a conical fluidized bed dryer. Our students worked and we have already tested, and you can see the final dried cardamom, which is much superior quality than the traditional drying. So apart from this, you can dry paddy, you can do CTC tea drying because some tea gardens are there here. So these are all value additions and technology interventions. This is a new thing. Actually, while I was in Belgium, along with my student, we developed this particular product. And ultimately that was now scaled up here. This is called a rotary fluidized bed dryer with static geometry. I am not going into the more technical details of this. Rather, this dryer can be used for many purposes like drying of paddy, quality drying of cardamom, quality drying of kaju or cashew nut, whatever may be. And even you can think of sorghum and millets or maize to dry. So in this dryer, actually what happens, the flow of air inside the dryer is actually so high quantum. That's acceleration due to gravity is 10 times that of normal gravity. That removes all the moisture within 10 minutes time. It is valid for paddy, but for other crops it may be different. So these dryers are already made. You can scale up this, use in the market. So if entrepreneurs come up, if they are trained up, they can take this as a livelihood, or it can go as a startup grant. Then coming to organic farming, we are also doing some work. We have fleet of actually manpower who are trained up in organic farming activities. So recently in last year, we have started working on some organic farming at Bandardewa and Jote area, where more than 100 entrepreneurs and some local youths participated. So this vermicomposting units has been erected now in Bandardewa. One is erected in the place called Jote, where our permanent campus is going to be placed. And this permanent campus, need of our permanent campus will be filled up by these entrepreneurs. So also we are connecting not only these trainings, we are also connecting these would be budding entrepreneurs of the banks with our management department so that they can write the project report and they can get it sanctioned. So all these activities, much more are there, but I have shown a few here. Always I am with development of Arunachal Pradesh. So I'll always like to help. My people are also working towards this. With this, I'd like to thank everybody.
Thank you so much, sir. The new technologies that you've taken us through. And I hope the entrepreneurs in our attendees today, they have a lot of questions and they might like to get in touch with you. So we'll connect again with you. Thank you so much for your presentation. And now we move on to our next speaker, Mr. Rajgopal Shivkumar. He's the Consultant Logistic Skill Council of India, Chennai, and having a 24 years of total experience in the cold chain processing industry, with 20 years in the industry, and many years in the consultancy services in covering agriculture, horticulture, dairy, poultry, and seafood sector. So we would like to know more about this cold chain possibilities and what are the status and what are the solutions on this sector. So over to you, sir. We would like to hear from you now. Do we have, sir?
Shiv Kumar, kindly unmute.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam. Thanks, ASSOCHAM, for giving the opportunity. Let me share with the my presentation right now. Are you able to see my screen, ma'am?
Yes.
Or Mr. Manish, can you please just share if you can? I couldn't do it from my side. There's some problem.
Okay, sir. I'll just do it from my. Yes, sir. Is it visible now?
Yes, it's visible. No, I think no. Yes. Yes. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. Good afternoon, everyone, my co-speakers. Thank you, ASSOCHAM, for providing this opportunity. Arunachal Pradesh, the challenges in the agro sector and solution is one of the appropriate themes that we've been speaking when the whole country is experiencing the COVID challenges for the last 2 years. So a relevant solution not only for the agriculture, but also the COVID with the cold chain is going to be the need of the hour. And thank you for bringing this particular topic. In fact, I also attended the Manipur one. So in my presentation, primarily I'll be focusing on the post-forest infrastructure development, which is one of the key sectors which needs a lot of thrust, not only in Arunachal Pradesh, for the entire region, and also the capacity building. These are the two topics which is more relevant, because knowledge-based agriculture and agribusiness is one of the more crucial for our country to link with the markets. Yeah, next slide, please.
Yes.
Yes, Arunachal Pradesh is primarily a landlocked state located in northeastern part of our country, surrounded by China and Tibet in north, Assam in south, and Myanmar, and the state of Nagaland in the east, Bhutan in the west. It's primarily surrounded by almost countries, different countries, but there is a lot of opportunities which I could see to that one. When we are moving ahead, I'll show you how exactly is that. It's an agrarian state with 70% of the population dependent on the agriculture. There are 4 agroclimate zones, 25 districts, and about 5,589 villages with a total population of 1.38 million. And the literary levels are very high, both in urban and rural area, and above the national average. And average temperature varies from 15 to 21 degrees centigrade. So this is a broad geography of Arunachal Pradesh. The landscape is concerned. Yeah, please, next slide, please. I'll be taking 15 minutes, not more than that one. We are almost moving, we almost crossed the 1 o'clock. Now, coming to the topography of Arunachal Pradesh, we have got 4 agroclimatic zones. The one which you could see is in the green hatched one is the Eastern Himalayas zone. We have Purvanchal, which is marked in the red color, and we have the Sivalik Hills adjoining Assam, and also Brahmaputra Plain Valley, where it is on the adjoining the Myanmar. So there are 4 agroclimatic zones, different kind of produce, tropical, subtropical, fruits, vegetables, spices, flowers are being grown, predominantly bamboo, of course, forestry produce. So it is a rich agricultural, horticultural, and abundant amount of forestry resources are being grown here. Yes, next slide, please. When we really look at a lot of vegetables and fruits, primarily the Arunachal Pradesh produces apples, oranges, different varieties of oranges. In fact, there is even GA also has been given to orange variety, pineapple, and kiwi. All the point here is that most of the fruits and vegetables being grown are more organic in nature, almost 80%, or use of less residues and less toxicides, which will enable a very food safe produce to eat, not only for the domestic and for the export, but primarily on the domestic. We have got a lot of demand. Ginger is having a lot of demand across the country, and the prices of ginger, which is very high. The difference in the farm gate price on the price of the retail market is almost more than 1:5 or 1:6. So which means there is an ample opportunity in the domestic market, not only on the export market, to look at individual item, how we can create a value chain. Okay. The next slide, please. Now, interestingly, I just wanted to share a few pictures. When I was just preparing this presentation, I was just seeing Arunachal Pradesh. How do I compare with the Switzerland? I have not been to Arunachal Pradesh, been to Switzerland, but looks I missed Arunachal Pradesh, the landscapes, the river, the falls, the valleys, the orchards, the tributaries are almost, I would rather say it's much better than in the Switzerland. But it's a natural gift. Arunachal Pradesh is a natural gift. The entire Northeast is a gift to the country. But despite the fact the economy, we have a long way to go to catch up the economy of Switzerland. Okay, this is the end of my part one on the resources, the gift that we have, the location, the topography. That's my part one. Now we'll try and see to that one how Arunachal Pradesh can be made in Switzerland, how we all together can create a roadmap. Ministry is here and he has given a concern that one is willing to look at all our suggestions, and definitely, Minister, we are there for you together to develop Arunachal Pradesh. Yeah, next slide. Well, there was a study that has been carried out by, I would like to, in my part two, I'll be talking about an agri-logistics and key challenges. Primarily, as we know that one, logistics is one of the very big challenge in Arunachal Pradesh because of various reasons, the development of the roads, you can't touch the biodiversity, you can't just like that put tunnels in the, the mountains, being a mountainous country, road, train infrastructure, air, everything is a big challenge. But there is always a way that we can find it out. The NCCD report, National Center for Coal Chain Development, has made a good report on, they made a committee and they were stationed there for more than 35 days and carried out a study. And they brought a lot of challenges, which are listed here. Of course, we all know that one, road connectivity, even if you really look at all the multimodal ways, roads, train, waterways, air connectivity is big challenge, which is a really big issue even now. And then availability of the post-harvest management infrastructure, distribution centers, the pack houses, everything, the primary processing, primarily both in the production level and also in the consumption level, in the market level, still they are inadequate. And the multi-commodity cold storages in the district level, small, I'm talking about small, maybe 300 tons or 400, 500 tons multi-commodity to store whatever is being produced in the particular district. We got 25 districts in Arunachal Pradesh, and every district has got, it produces its unique combination of agricultural and horticultural produce, which probably could be kept in the cold storage for medium duration and to a long duration before we can plan for a distribution. So setting up a multi-commodity cold storages, multi-temperature cold storages is also one of the options which we really look at that thing. Agro-processing clusters, small SME clusters. The government of India has come out with a lot of incentives and plans in the agri infrastructure fund and through Ministry of Food Processing and through various programs exist today. As my co-speakers already talked about, agro processing cluster is one of the key drivers of the development of the economy. Innovative technologies, which is one of the key. Agri innovation, nurturing innovation through institution is one of the very important area that we need to work on that one. And of course, knowledge, skill development, capacity building and training programs in different categories is very important on the post-harvest management. Packaging and food processing, of course, packaging is a very important area. We'll try to look at on that one. So these are all the key challenges which are quite inadequate, which is really required, which has been brought forward. We need to address. We need to address all these challenges. So this is my part two, and yeah, in the next slide, please, Ms. Manish. Yeah, opportunities and solution, which forms my third part, please. Go ahead. Yes. Yeah, previous slide. As I mentioned in my earlier slides, when we really look at creating a value chain for horticultural produce, then primary processing is one of the very important, and it's a quick way of doing, like cleaning, washing, sorting, grading. In a modern pack houses, pre-cooling and cold room will definitely give a lot of value to the farmers, farmer producer groups, in a cooperative level, in the production level, before it has been planned for distribution to the rest of the country or to the export. And secondary processing units in a small scale. I'm talking about a small scale to make pulps, juices, and jam, because all the inferior quality, I would rather say C grade or whatever is probably could be made in a secondary processing. In a way, oranges is being grown quite abundant. So there is a primary processing of washing, sorting, grading, and waxing to improve the shelf life. Pre-cooling and cold storages probably could be done in a primary processing center. Pineapple is one of the prime commodity, and it is which has got a lot of values because of the origin of pineapple from Arunachal Pradesh always fetches a premium in the outside markets in urban areas. So pineapple pre-cooling and again sorting and grading and packaging is one of an area that we need to work on that. Bananas, banana ripening, kiwi.
Shivakumar sir, I'll request you to kindly quickly go through it because there is a time limit on the.
I will do that one. Just give me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll do that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you, Ms.
yeah,
Gaur, for
thank you.
reminding that. Yeah, so in a nutshell, I'm trying to talk about there is an ample opportunities in primary processing and secondary processing, but both should coexist because the farmers produce every item in a different grades. You can't leave the farmers without leaving even a single kg of the produce that has been produced in the farm without getting commercialization. So there is a technologies are being available. Only thing is we have to identify and we have to take those technologies to the market. Yeah, next slide, please, Mr. Manish. Yes, the same way I'm talking is the vegetables for potatoes, for brinjal, beans, exotic vegetables, and primarily all those vegetables you can't do much with the the secondary processing except for potatoes, but it's only primary processing with the packaging is possible. Yeah, next slide, please. Ginger, yeah, it's been quite abundant quantities being grown in ginger, and the demand is very high in our country. So, but only thing is that once you can store for a very long duration if you are maintaining a very precise temperature and relative humidity. So a kind of a storage, a cold storage is need to be built for produce like ginger. So this is also could be built in a prime pockets, production pockets, and we can show the ginger where the farmers themselves can connect directly to the market for distribution to the ginger to the different parts of the country, or they can export. Right now it is being exported to Bangladesh and other countries. Next slide, please. Now, having seen the various opportunities on primary processing and secondary processing from the produce that is being grown, horticultural produce, and the spices, flowers, everything. The primary thing is on a knowledge. Once you have an infrastructure in place, the infrastructure needs to be equipped with the knowledge on post-harvest management practices. Whether it's a private sector who is investing money, or the private or the farmer producer companies, or even institutions who are setting up a infrastructure, your knowledge on the post-harvest management in terms of process right from the harvest on various stages that happens within the infrastructure, and what are the conditions you are going to maintain, and what kind of a packing it is to be done before, and what kind of temperature conditions you need to do everything. There's a good knowledge management, and post-harvest process knowledge is extremely important. So next slide, please. Yeah, the same is the case for the same. I was just talking about them. So every produce we need to uniquely design a post-harvest management process, and you can use this post-harvest management process to deploy those processes within the infrastructure. This is extremely important because every produce is unique. Every produce has got its own characteristics and self-life, which needs a broader understanding. Next slide, please. So so primarily, I think protocols. I think the universities are already working on the protocols on oranges right from the maturity index, on what stage it needs to be harvested, the harvest practices, handling requirements after harvest is very important. Shelf life was storage temperature, what temperature I can maintain, how much duration if I maintain certain temperature and humidity levels. Compatibility, I should not mix oranges with the other vegetables that produce an ethylene, because there is a cross contamination of odors, and also the ethylene migration also will take place. This knowledge needs to be understood by the farmer producer companies and various stakeholders, the traders and exporters. Selling sensitivity, and sensitivity to the temperature, heat production, specific heat. So these are all the protocols that we need to develop, which is already been there. And definitely this education is extremely important to the industry, right from the farm level to various, to the institutions and various stakeholders involved in the whole process. Next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah, packaging standards. APEDA has got a lot of export standards, but there are a lot of domestic packaging also could be done. But predominantly, there are various packaging, needs to be developed. It is available for various vegetables, produce. The reason why we need to focus on the packaging is it gives a lot of brand image from Arunachal Pradesh, Arunachal kiwis, Arunachal king chilies, Arunachal Pradesh cardamom, big cardamom, etc. So I think that will really fetch a lot of premium into the markets, and focusing on development of the packaging and knowledge on the packaging is extremely important. Next slide, please. Yes, again, the infrastructure, the project development, how we are going to develop in the infrastructure. This is the picture, what you're seeing is a in a 3D image of how a pack house infrastructure looks like to cater all the process that could be done. You could see that one right from the receiving till it goes to the delivery. There is a process hall, there is a pre-cooling area, there is a holding area where you can maintain a temperature. There is also a farmers training center also is there, so they can practically see, so they can impart a training program. Storage of plastic crates, packing materials area should be given, machinery rooms, utilities. So all this forms an integrated infrastructure needs to be planned depending upon the area, whether it is going to be 5,000 square feet or 10,000 square feet. The land is a premium, land is not available in Arunachal Pradesh, but it is probably, we could probably work it out and with the authorities and with the FPOs to create an adequate infrastructure that create a value chain. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is another one which is probably to be located in the market level. This is again every district markets, both for combining fruits and vegetables. You need a cold storage because market should can store cold storage with the bigger capacities because they feed to the market based on the demand. It can also be connected with the e-DAM and other electronic marketing facilities. So the design and the infrastructure is also very depending upon the location. Yeah, next slide, please. Of course, this is one of the multi-commodity cold storage for storing apples, kiwi, which you need to maintain in a precise temperature and a high relative humidity. Whereas case of ginger is low relative humidity. Exotic vegetables again is high relative humidity. Packing needs to be done, special packing. So this is one design we need to take care of that one when we are really looking at that, setting up those kind of projects. Next slide, please. Yeah, multimodal logistics, an idea of logistics is very important because it's not storage for transportation. So a basic understanding on packing, palletization, containerization is extremely important for us when we are planning to transport this produce to any domestic market or export market. And awareness of packing and how the logistics works is extremely important for us. Yes, next slide, please. Yes, now coming, so this is various aspects which we have been talking about that one, and logistics skill council. Now, I'm a consultant for logistics skill council of India, set up by Minister of Skill Development, and it works with an apex. It's an apex body, led by Government of India, works on the logistics sector. Today, agri-logistic training is going to be an extremely important program. Is important part of the development. So government has given a lot of thrust, and we have been working with the central government and state bodies. Next slide, please. Been working with a lot of state bodies, and these are the areas which we have been working on: the warehousing, training to warehousing, different levels of the people, the trainers, diploma programs, and land transportation, couriers, e-commerce, and port operation, cold chain, EXIM logistics, air cargo operation, inland waterways, and supply chain manufacturing, and liquid logistics for the transportation of the oxygen to the various states. I think we have been involved in, giving a lot of training to the operators of oxygen containers. So, it's a delicate product, badly we have to do that one, we done it. And for rail logistics, multimodal logistics. So skill development on warehousing, multimodal logistics, LSE is working on a very big way with, working closely with the state governments. Next. different levels, technician training, diploma training, undergraduate, BBA. So there are different type of different levels of programs focusing on the different people. Yeah, next. Yeah, we have for example, if you really look at the undergraduate program, we have 6 semester. It is an industry-driven apprentice training driven program currently being operated in many colleges across the country. And BMS and agri storage and supply chain probably is one of the very good program where post-harvest management and cold chain, everything is involved. Not only in agriculture, dairy, poultry, seafood, all curriculums cover into that program. Next slide, please. So we got about the collaborative institution. There are about totally about 100 colleges. There is about 55 programs and many states. There is a lot of this has been started last 2 years back, and there is an expected number of students to enroll in various states. About 12 states, different colleges are working with these programs, and already 3rd, 4th semester is going on. There are 2,500 students have already been enrolled. Yeah, please, next slide, please. Yes, the biggest strength of any industry is how we are going to connect with the, any sector is how we are going to connect with the industry. Logistics Skill Council of India has connected with almost everybody in the industry, road transportation, whether your warehouse, and we have the multimodal logistics companies. So, and almost every express couriers, FedEx, DHL, and all cargo, all are we have been working very closely because it's an apprentice-led program. So they're all part of the key stakeholders, and they probably drive the programs for the skill development. So we work hand in hand together to create the curriculum and work towards for the development of the industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And that was like a presentation which covered most of the agro-logistic parts. And sorry, we are running out of time. That's why we had to hurry. We would like to hear from you in our other programs as well. Moving forward, we would like to thank you, sir. We would like to invite Dr. Anand Singh. And Dr. Anand Singh is an Associate Vice President, Life Science Advisory Group of Sadhguru. And he has gained a valuable experience in the agri-product development and information technology with Monsanto. At Sadhguru, Dr. Anand is engaged in providing strategic advisory to international agricultural products, focusing on South Asia, Africa. Dr. Anand has led projects in agri-input sector in India to develop global and domestic companies for market entry and business growth. Sir has more than 20 years of experience working with government research institutes and all of this. His expertise lies in market assessment, product development, and project management. So we would like to hear from you, sir, and as being coming towards the end of this program, so your insights are definitely very important for us.
Thanks, Ranjita. Thanks, Ranjita, and thanks ASSOCHAM for providing me this opportunity. And have been listening to all our eminent speakers, and they have covered most of the elements that that need to be incorporated in developing Arunachal Pradesh. And so I would like to focus on 2 or 3 things which Honorable Minister mentioned on that. So one was, he mentioned that we need to increase the production first. So he mentioned based on the population size and limited land availability, the challenge of productivity increase is very, very high in the state. So I'm not sure how much it is feasible. One would be definitely to look at the customization of most of the interventions discussed here. Another would be maybe on the pilot scale initially to look at protected cultivation if possible, especially in the foothills and the plain areas to increase the productivity for certain exotic crops, herbs, medicinal crops. And then that can be linked to the primary packaging within the same area, same zone of production or same zone of harvesting as well. So that will give 1 or 2 very key elements that will be uniformity of the produce and organic, it will be mostly organic, and it could be controlled environment. So labor availability will not be a challenge there. So that could be one thing that can be looked at. And the second is basically, since most of these interventions need to be customized and be within the tribal community itself. So a lot of capacity development is necessary for the community members, so that it's easier for them to percolate to their other community person. So something like a lead farmer get trained, or some youth got trained in multiple activities in production increase and processing and packaging. Professor Mahanta mentioned a lot of value addition elements. So that's definitely need to look at, and should be integrated with the forward value chain, as discussed by Mr. Rajgopal, the logistics part. So if we can develop those kind of elements, it will be very, very good for the state. Second element, the second and final element I would like to discuss will be access to the credit. Because once we increase the production and productivity of the various products, various agriculture commodities within the state, so it will be very, very important that a line of informal credit is available to the different stakeholders within the value chain. That can be done through microfinance, and that can be promoted within the state. Definitely in the project areas where they're looking at a pilot scale, then it can be scaled up across the states. And these microfinance institutes need a lot of encouragement to start their operations, and then they can be linked to different farmer cooperatives or farmer producer organizations, or even SSGs also, which are doing a lot of value addition within the state. So those are my 2 points, because most of the other things have been covered by other eminent speakers. And so that's all I had, Ranjita. And
thank you, Dr. Anand. Thank you so much. One, for your patience. You were the last speaker, and that challenge is there, that most of the points does get covered. But the way you put forward the whole thought, summing up, rather you have done my job. I was supposed to sum up, but then in your 2 points and referring to what has been discussed so far, you have actually summed up the conversation beautifully. I think what you said is very, very relevant, and that's the crux of the discussion, and that's what we intended to do. Many thoughts have come which need to be filtered, and let's stay focused on what Minister has guided us. So with this whole group, we would like to stay connected, and we would like to interact with you, so that collectively we can further brainstorm, come up with some more actionable agenda, which then can be shared with the Arunachal government to and fro. Some more communications can happen. We'll be really honored and privileged if you could be part of that small group where we do these talk sessions, or we do this deliberations along with other members who are there. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have overshot the time, and I'm getting a lot of signals from my technology team that it's time to wind up. So we will be skipping the Q&A part of it. We will also be skipping the interaction between the panelists, as we are really, really in a tight spot and have absolutely no time to continue further. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, especially the guests who have joined from Northeast and the other parts of the country, the FPOs and the Laghu Udyog members who have joined us from the Northeastern region. Thank you, each and every one of us. You are welcome to write down to us at any point of time, share your thoughts. We'll be very happy to take up those thoughts. And we of course, are highly indebted to all the panelists who have joined us today, shared your thoughts with us. We would be staying connected with you to take up your presentations, take up your thoughts, and then shall keep coming back to you. With this, thank you very much for your presence. We would like to call it a day. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you, Parminder ji. It was nice introduction.
Bye-bye.
But we should have got some question hours. Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yes, we can't take this time, but thank you so
Right,
much,
right.
everyone. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Namaskar.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.